The following is a presentation of the BellyUpSports Media Network.
The ball sends it over to Edward. Robles, goal! InsertName FC! Let's go, InsertName FC! What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of the InsertName FC podcast, a member of the BellyUpSports Media Network. Also, you can find us on all things podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us there. And of course, if you're watching us through YouTube, thank you. Please subscribe to us, by the way. Like, subscribe, do all the stuff that you're supposed to do for YouTube. Because we're trying to grow this platform out on YouTube. And the reason why we're having YouTube now is because of Golz TV. So you can also find us on Golz TV. Check them out at GolzTV. It is the Hulu of soccer content here in the United States. It is growing. There's a lot of exciting things to go. I'm sure Jose Tellez will tell us plenty when we get to the MLS Cup playoff talk. But obviously will not be having my Houston Dynamo in the final. But I'll get to that when we get to that part with Jose. But another week is gone, and so obviously I don't go to the movie theaters anymore. I think we talked about this when we were talking about like the worst places to go on a date.
I guess, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so I don't really go to the movie theaters anymore because also everything just popped. Like eventually, it's gonna be on streaming, and so I finally watched Blue Beetle.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How was it?
I liked it. It is definitely not your typical DC movie. So I believe James Gunn is now going to be running the whole DC universe.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's what's going on. And knowing James Gunn, I mean, if you guys remember Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like if you watch like the Peacemaker or the I think it was the second Suicide Squad, that was kind of like where it's like a mixture of dark humor. It's like comedic but like in good taste, I guess. Which I mean, I don't know if dark humor if you can use those words for in dark humor. But essentially that's what it was. But Blue Beetle was very family oriented. I think what was funny was like for me was like I kind of got the references because obviously the actor that's playing Blue Beetle, his name is Cholo. If you guys don't know, basically the kid that plays Miguel in Cobra Kai, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm gonna regret not having Netflix anymore is because I can't watch Cobra Kai. But anyways, he's in it and George Lopez is in it, and so like it was just kind of like the whole like Hispanic family setup, and it was kind of like, oh, I get some of the stuff that they're talking about here, so I kind of liked it. I'll also tell you, I'm one of those guys that I would not like praise a movie or a product or a movie or a show because it's just like solely Hispanic. If it's bad, it's bad. I'll say it. I'm like, like tax collector. Everyone's like, oh, we gotta hype this movie up, man, because our people's in it. No, that movie sucked. So.
Oh, really?
Shia LaBeouf carried the movie. Shia LaBeouf.
Well, I mean, that was the whole point, wasn't it? What's his name? Spooky or whatever the fuck he's supposed to be.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't supposed to carry. He gets killed in the movie.
Oh.
No, but I mean, like that's how I felt though. Like once they killed off his character, I was like, I really don't care about what happens in the rest of this movie. I was like, I really don't.
Makes sense.
Weirdly enough, George Lopez was also in that movie.
Damn. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, But Blue Beetle, really good movie. Also finally got to watch The Flash. I didn't care for it. I didn't care too much for it.
Is it out? Is it out already?
It's on Max. Yeah, it's available on
Okay.
streaming. I still haven't seen the Justice League. I might watch the Justice League.
The Justice League one was actually good. Like,
Yeah,
I actually like that
I
one.
don't know. I haven't watched it. I've been turned
To be
off
fair,
I've been turned off by the DCU.
the first one was horrible. The first Justice League.
So I gotta watch like the 3-hour long Zack Snyder.
The Zack Snyder cut. Yeah,
I gotta watch the 3-hour one.
yeah, that would be the best.
Oh my god!
Like basically the 3-hour one with all the extended cuts and everything.
I never saw Wonder Woman. I didn't see both Wonder Womans.
I saw them.
I know Wonder Woman 84 was like very much hated on.
It was not well received. I'll be honest with that.
I remember seeing a clip of the first Wonder Woman movie. Not the first one, but the first one with Gal Gadot. And there's like a scene where I guess in the war zone where it's like it's called No Man's Land. No man, and then she's like, "Yeah, you're right. No man can survive there." And then she jumps out. I was like, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not trying to say anything against any of that stuff. I just like don't make it obvious is what I'm saying. But obviously Edward was there when we saw Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, it was bad. That was bad.
That was like the biggest F.
I was like, damn. I was like, the best Superman with like the worst Batman. Yeah, that was not
okay. No, I wouldn't say he's the worst Batman.
Okay,
You don't like Ben Affleck as Batman?
No,
I don't. He's not terrible.
he's terrible.
Okay, it's George Clooney. Would you rather?
That was based off like almost like the Adam West kind of Batman.
That doesn't change the argument. Would you rather watch George Clooney's Batman or Ben Affleck's Batman?
George Clooney.
Wow, I think that's a hot take. I'm not gonna say anything about Val Kilmer. I really don't remember that movie too well. I mean Michael Keaton. I think I don't think people respect him. They'll give him his flowers. I mean, I think it's because he gets overshadowed by Christian Bale. But
yeah,
great Bruce Wayne. Terrible Batman. But
yeah. Well, yeah, Christian Bale did like Bruce Wayne did a really good
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, yeah. Christian Bale did a really good Bruce Wayne. Like he played the part correctly, like right accent on point and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with all those things. Maybe one day we'll draft like all time character actors that played a superhero. Maybe we'll do that one episode. But yeah, so this episode, so we're gonna have our overreactions. So no headlines because we're gonna go ahead and react to the drawing of the 2024 Euro, which obviously is coming in the summer. But they did do the drawing, so we're gonna go ahead and see who's going to be in what group, who we think is the group of death. It's pretty obvious who the group of death is, but you'll find out when we get there. The MLS Cup Conference Finals is over, unfortunately for my team, the Houston Dynamo. But me and Jose Tellez of Golz TV, we're going to go ahead, recap the conference finals, and then preview the 2023 MLS Cup Final, which is going to be really exciting. Fortunately, we're going to be celebrating my birthday, and it won't be the Dynamo playing in it. So that kind of sucks, but I'm very optimistic as a Dynamo fan right now. The quarterfinals for Liga MX is done and over with, so we'll preview the semifinals. By the time this episode drops, the first legs have already been played, so hopefully going into the weekend, maybe we have some good matches, not like complete blowouts by the first leg, and then announce our players of the week, give you guys some games to look forward to this coming weekend, and me and I we're going to do it 3 up, 3 down. And it's going to be that guy pickup games. So we'll see what me and Edward think who are the worst and best people at pickup games. And that's not just soccer specific. It could be any sort of pickup game.
Basketball, football.
I feel like it's probably all the same. Some of the people who mentioned is probably the same guy. It's
the same guy.
Like there's probably like similarities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll get there when we get there. But all right, so we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll go straight into overreactions.
Are you ready to elevate your sports betting experience? Look no further than DraftKings Sportsbook. Why choose DraftKings Sportsbook? Unmatched variety. Bet on your favorite sports leagues or discover new ones to follow. Live betting. Test your instincts and feel the adrenaline as you bet in real time while the game unfolds. Promotions and boosted odds. DraftKings keeps the excitement going with a range of promotions, odds boosts, and special offers. And a user-friendly interface. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or new to the game, DraftKings' intuitive platform makes placing bets a breeze. Ready to dive in? BellyUpSports has partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook to give you an exclusive offer. Sign up at dkng.co/BellyUp150 and new customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet $5 or more. Don't miss out on this opportunity to take your love for sports to the next level. Sign up today and let the games begin. Please gamble responsibly. 21 years or older. Eligibility restrictions apply. See website for details.
And we're back. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at InsertNameFC. Also check us out on TikTok at insert.name.fc. Need to get back into it. But before we do overreactions, we did have something be the halfway point of a certain competition amongst me, Edward, and Spencer, which is the singing bet. So Edward, congratulations. Barcelona kept you alive in this competition.
I know.
Beating Atletico Madrid 1-0. So,
ironically, João Felix did.
João Felix. Revenge game.
Mm-hmm.
João Felix revenge game. There we go. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the standings as we reach the halfway point. Remember, Bayern Munich is no longer in the competition because, let's be honest, I have never really been a real supporter of Bayern Munich. I just like Philipp Lahm. So, because of that, Edward and Spencer don't have to worry about Borussia Dortmund getting shellacked by Bayern Munich. With that being said, that actually changes the table completely because now Spencer is in first place. Me and him are actually tied with points with 9 apiece, but Spencer does have the goal differential advantage over me, and that's why he is currently in first place and putting Edward in last place right now. But he is only 3 points away from me and Spencer, so it's still a very close matchup. Things can turn around, maybe not for Manchester United, but Edward at least has some hope here with Barcelona. I might say this. I think Barcelona. I think La Liga. I think it might be one of those where we all beat each other. We're like no one really wins La Liga.
Oh man, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, so it's really anybody's game. So yeah, and we'll see how the second half of the English Premier League season goes. Obviously, Manchester United still has their struggles, and then I'm sure that rematch of Arsenal Manchester City is going to be a juicy one as well. But yeah, so it is a pretty tight contest, but Edward is still alive. He can somehow find a way. If his teams can somehow help him find a way to get out of last place so he doesn't have to sing at the end of next year. So.
Oh, man. It's going to be bad.
And also remember, another thing that we added onto this competition is that for every trophy that team has won in the season, it'll be an additional point granted. So if Edward somehow just doesn't, if Barcelona just somehow doesn't beat any of Atletico Real Madrid, but somehow find themselves winning La Liga and Copa del Rey, Edward just got himself 2 points.
It's just 2 points, really?
Or, I mean, Edward thinks they can compete in the Champions League. So, maybe they get a treble. That's 3 points right there for Edward.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that just sounds like it's gonna go. That just sounds like it's going downhill. The way you make it sound.
I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but yeah. So that's the update on Singing Bet. We already posted the standings on our social media once again on Instagram and Twitter at InsertNameFC. So you guys want to see the math, make sure the math is adding up. You can go ahead and check it out there. But once again, Spencer currently in first place of the Singing Bet challenge. But yeah, so overreactions, man. Overreaction. Edward, what is your overreaction for this past weekend?
So my overreaction is that Lewandowski has yet to score a goal. And he actually had a lot of chances this weekend.
Man, is this going back all the way since the last time you gave him the Player of the Week?
Yep.
Jeez.
It's been a while, man. It has been a while. He's having a drought. It's not a good thing either. Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Yep.
So, with that being said, man, with the rumors of, because I believe there's a stipulation in Lewandowski's contract where if he doesn't play a certain number of minutes, Barcelona could
just terminate the contract.
Yes, and I mean there is the rumors in the MLS that Robert Lewandowski could be making a move to MLS. A lot of people are hoping that it would be the Chicago Fire due to the Polish influence that Chicago has. But do you feel like it's time to move on from Robert Lewandowski?
I think not move on from him, but I think it's time for him to move on to a different club, or it may be time for him to come to MLS, to be honest with you. I just want to see after the winter break.
To move on?
I just want to see after the winter break. Let's put it this way. I want to see after the winter break what's going to happen. Because who knows? You know, he might actually start scoring goals again. Maybe he just needs like a good Christmas vacation.
That's possibly a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to give a shout out to this one podcast because I remember very early on someone made a really, really hot take about maybe it's time to move on from Lewandowski, and I thought that person was crazy. And it's not because it was a woman. It wasn't because a woman said this. But it was a woman that said it. A lot of people in the comments did react in a way that was kind of sexist. But once again, that's not what I was going off of. I just thought it was a hot take to say we need to give up on Robert Lewandowski. And the podcast is Cult of Football. That was the podcast that mentioned it, where they were saying that maybe we should move on for Robert Lewandowski. Once again, I thought that was a really dumb hot take, but hey, maybe this person knows something that we didn't, and so I'll go ahead and give her flowers on that one. But yeah, because Robert Lewandowski, I'm not saying that he's the reason he's kind of slowing down this young Barcelona team, but I mean, okay, I'll throw this out.
He's not keeping up with the pace, basically. Is what you're saying.
that and but who else do you put over him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there a guy right now that in the club? We'll do our Christmas wish list for the transfers. Maybe next week, or maybe we'll do the following week. But anyways, but like right now in the club, like who is that guy where we can be like, yeah, you start over Robert Lewandowski?
I mean, to be honest, João Felix.
Oh, so you'll take João Felix off the wing and put him up front?
Yeah, I would. Let Ferran Torres play on the wing.
I never thought I'd hear the day Edward says we need to put Ferran Torres in the field.
Hey, man, desperate times, man. Desperate times. You gotta fake it till you make it, No,
you're absolutely. I know. I actually agree. I agree with it. It's unfortunate this is how it's going, but yeah, I think, and along with that, with the rumor circulating of Robert Lewandowski either making I've heard more rumors about him going to MLS than I've heard him going to Saudi Arabia. But I mean, I'll be all for it for Robert Lewandowski to come to the MLS. It'll be hilarious if he somehow goes to Inter Miami, but I think they're good now because I believe Luis Suarez.
Oof. Yeah,
Luis Suarez is I know he just got released by Gremio, so he should be going to Inter Miami, and so I think it's like it's hard to give up on because Robert Lewandowski literally last year was the leading goal scorer in La Liga, so it's really hard to want to move on from that. Especially because this is I think this period's best striker, not best player, but best striker. Because I mean, obviously that's Messi, but yeah, I think it's Robert. I think that either Barcelona fixes the game to where it benefits Lewandowski, which I don't think that it
No,
necessarily.
I don't think that's gonna be it.
I don't think that's it. But
they could possibly do that because I mean, what's gonna happen is they're gonna end up using all the speedy people to basically pass the ball to Lewandowski.
Yeah, I think like Tiki Taka wise, and it's like some people are gonna be like, yeah, he just never fit. I'm like, dude, freaking, what's the difference between Lewandowski and Suarez?
They were literally the same.
It's literally the same guy. Like I mean, like there's levels to it, but I mean, it's still like the same type of 9.
So Lewandowski, what he has is height, so he'll win a lot more headers, but he was also a little bit more acrobatic than Suarez. Suarez, though, he had his flair, his style, and
his teeth.
I mean, and his teeth, I guess, if you want to go ahead and throw in the Chiellini in it all.
I mean, yeah.
But I think it's like just elementary wise, like yeah, they're literally the same player. They're just poachers. They're finishers. Like they just need the ball right there in the perfect spot, and they will take the shot. And then most of the time, it will go in.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So we'll see what happens with Robert Lewandowski. Hopefully, he can turn things around. But I mean, if there's a time for him to a man to get released by a team, it's probably great timing if he was to do it around this time because of if he does go to the MLS. I mean but like if he does go to the MLS, he's going in right into their whatever team's off season and getting in with the team during the off season period and actually being able to build some chemistry and then go into start the season with the team instead of versus going in and coming in the summer and having to just
kind of come in the middle of it
in the flow with while everybody's already vibing. I mean, unless it was Inter Miami because that was just dumpster fire. So anybody could have came in at that time. Point Messi. But yeah, I think that this is gonna be interesting to follow up with Robert Lewandowski just because of the fact that like if he does come to MLS, it's going to be a massive signing. Hopefully, I mean we said this about Bastian Schweinsteiger, and we know how great that turned out. Or Andre Pirlo.
Oh God, that was hard.
Frank Lampard was okay. Rooney. Well, Rooney had moments.
Dude, Rooney, that one shot where he freaking sprinted all the way back to get it, and he scored it from far away.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was legendary.
Bro, someone that needs his flowers, that's Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney needs his flowers. Someone needs to give Wayne Rooney some flowers. Yeah. Because, I mean, what? If Chicharito was healthy, it would be a different story. But, like, because I think he is, like, very impactful. And now he's in the market. I do believe he's going to Chivas, which that will be awesome. Awesome way for him to end his career is going back to Chivas. But anyways, yeah, Robert Lewandowski, I still think would be a high profile signing, especially for MLS. So
yeah,
I think that would be great. But we'll see what happens with Robert Lewandowski. It's going to be an interesting storyline to follow, especially at this time around, depending on how if he gets his minutes, and 2, when does Barcelona pull that trigger? Because it's not that they're performing bad, because they're doing well in La Liga. I can't really tell you much on Champions League, but it's definitely not because of Robert Lewandowski. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, my overreaction is dang it. Over here too worried about Edward's overreaction that I forgot about my overreaction.
Yeah, ain't that how life goes.
Yeah, right. Shoot. Yeah, I don't have one. This is not a good look for me. I thought I had one. Just drew blanks on this one.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Has to do with Real Madrid. Has to do with AC Milan. Has to do with
Christian Pulisic.
I don't know.
Christian Pulisic once again has restored my faith in the U.S. soccer's future. Like, obviously everybody heard and saw me get on my soapbox about how the U.S. played against Trinidad and Tobago. But you always got to remember, this team looks completely different when Christian Pulisic is on the field. And seeing what him and Maigan did this past weekend for AC Milan was just chef's kiss. One amazing pass by Maigan, but like also just what a finish by Christian Pulisic. It is great to see, one, he's healthy. It's great to see him back on the field because, that means he's healthy. And two, that he's scoring and he's playing because obviously that means that AC Milan does have a lot of faith in him. So yeah, it restored my faith. Like yes, it's frustrating to see what happens when we don't have Christian Pulisic on the field, but it is crazy to think how impactful someone can be, and Christian Pulisic is 100% that dude.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's the thing. Like we said, we both said it. Like we were still trying to contemplate who could be to replace Christian Pulisic when Christian Pulisic couldn't actually play, and we were still like, we were still trying to come up with like an actual player.
Yeah,
we were just throwing
100%.
We were just throwing. I'll be honest. I think we were just throwing names in the dumpster fire at this point. Like,
Christian Pulisic
maybe this one
is
would
just
work.
irreplaceable. Like he is just. I don't think anybody can top. I mean, Gio Reyna is always going to be that name that I think of, but I think we all know that he's better off as a 10 and not as a winger.
Yep.
But like for someone to be as impactful on the wing as Christian Pulisic, because I mean, Kevin Paredes, I think that there's some potential there with him, but obviously he needs more development. I mean, he's barely getting his minutes right now with Wolfsburg. So that's going to take time and take time with him to get kept, because this is kind of him being thrown in with the U.S. men's national team right now. But aside from that, there's not that many wingers out there. I said my piece about Kate Cowell. I think he's overrated. But I think as anyone off the wing right now, it's going to be a while before we might not be seeing a 4-3-3 formation at some point with the U.S. Whenever Christian Pulisic hangs it up, because I mean, who knows how the game evolves by that time? But like,
you think they'll go back to the 4-4-2?
If that's like if our best players only fits for a 4-4-2, which still codependent on a winger, but obviously now you have two strikers. I mean, that's the thing. Like that's the thing I keep saying about when it comes to with international teams. Like it's the teams dictate the system. It's not the system dictate the team. We always hear about Greg Berhalter and the system, that, and all that stuff. But like when it comes to like whatever you have for your best players are your best players. Like and it's kind of funny because like I think that there was a recent not an interview but like Fútbol Picante. I think a former Mexican coach is part of the panel for that show, and he mentioned how like he was actually told that he needed to bring certain players for the Mexican national team because of like sponsorships. And so it's like we already knew that Mexico was corrupt. We just didn't know what the extent it was. But yeah, so like that was my whole thing but obviously in a perfect world you would essentially be bringing in your best players to fill your best team, and sometimes your best players don't fit to your quote unquote system, which was always my complaint with Greg Berhalter, because obviously Greg Berhalter's system, for people that don't understand what I mean by the system, it's a 4-3-3 but with a holding midfielder, so he uses a 6 and 2 8s in the midfield, and obviously when you mention a player like Gio Reyna, who is a 10, which is attacking midfielder. So imagine if you had like a triangle, right? But the triangle is pointed upside down. So the points like going down, that would be your 6. And then those are your two dual 8s, if you will. Now, for Gio Reyna, you would want to flip that triangle, still have those 8s, maybe become one of them like goes a little bit deeper, maybe kind of be like that weird hybrid 6-8 type role. And then on the top of that triangle, you have your 10. More attack-minded, not necessarily defensive-minded. That's where Gio Reyna belongs on the field. But obviously, during the World Cup, when he did get to play in the World Cup, in 2022, Reina was on the wing. And then there was that weird there was that one weird game where he had him play striker. And he never trained that striker. But they just threw him out there.
Yeah.
I was like, interesting. Like Greg Berhalter at that moment was just throwing shit on the wall and seeing what stuck. Not something you want to do in the World Cup. Maybe you're friendly against, I don't know, Ghana, but not
right.
in the World Cup.
But at that point, he just, I think, just let him cook for now. After that, just
Christian Pulisic restored my faith. So, which isn't shocking. It isn't shocking at all. But all right.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, a little minor overreaction.
What from last week?
Yeah, compared.
Bro, it was bad. Like, I mean, those were like two. Like, once again, the worst 3-0 win I have ever seen in my life. And it's crazy to think that that's even possible to say, but that was the worst 3-0 win I have ever seen the U.S. play.
Damn.
And then to lose 2-1 in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's just like, I'm just scared of going to Trinidad and Tobago now as a U.S. soccer fan, just because of the fact that, like, it just, everything just goes wrong in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's just like, I don't want to go there. I don't want, like, when I see Trinidad and Tobago on the international break lineup, I'm like, oh man. But anyways, so the 2024 Euro, the qualifiers have been concluded, and now we have the drawings. Now, mind you, the groups aren't completely done yet, because there is still 3 spots that need to be decided, and they are going to be decided off of a playoff. So, kind of similar to the way UEFA does their qualifiers for the World Cup, you have 3 tables. Well, 3. Not tables. What's the
groups?
Brackets. There we go. 3
brackets.
There you go. 3 separate brackets. The winner of each bracket would then clinch that spot to go into the tournament. So very similar. It's not nothing different. The way UEFA does for qualifiers. But so this is going to be played on the 21st of March. So next year on March 21st, I'm sure I'll try to put a reminder, so that way when that time around comes, me and Edward start previewing it a little bit better, because this isn't a preview. This is just our reactions to what has been announced. But maybe me and Edward will go ahead and pick out the team that we want to see from each path, at least, and then kind of make our point. But the games that are going to be played on March 21st is the semifinals for each of the brackets, and then the 26th, in that same international break, will then be the finals for each of those brackets, and the winners of those games will then be clinched in their groups. So they're already in a group. Like, each winner, each bracket already has a group assigned to them for the drawing. It's just finding out who's going to be in that group. Does that change anybody's opinion on who has the group of death? Probably not, but maybe it does change some opinions. At least I think it would, specifically one bracket, but we'll get to it. So in Path A, Edward, Path A, the teams that are in there, and they're going to, and I'll also say who's facing off against who. In Path A, Poland versus Estonia and Wales versus Finland are the teams competing in Path A to get the spot in Path A.
Okay.
I'm just going to say this, Poland.
That's what I was thinking too.
I mean, no offense to Estonia, but I just don't see it happening for you guys. Wales, I mean, Gareth Bale's gone. So what do you all have left? I think they'll be back to being a bottom dweller. I'm sorry to the Wales fans. Finland, I can see Finland beat Wales.
Damn.
But I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I still think Poland comes out. This could be Robert Lewandowski's last Euro. So we'll see what happens there in Pat A. But yeah, but Poland. The reason why obviously is Robert Lewandowski. Poland usually does pretty well in these competitions. So yeah, that's my reason behind Poland. Do you have any other reasons?
Nope. You basically just said it right. I mean, I was thinking the same thing. Lewandowski is basically the only name that pops out of those 4 countries.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah.
All right, Pat B. So the teams that are competing in Pat B are Israel versus Iceland and Bosnia Herzegovina versus Ukraine.
Ukraine's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ukraine is very good. So I'm actually thinking Ukraine's gonna come out of Pat B. So and it sounds like Edward's also on the same page. They were really close to making it to the World Cup.
They were really close. I was surprised.
Yeah. So, and I mean, not trying to use the conflict right now in Ukraine as like a fighting force, but I mean, if you're talking about like if you're a storyline person in these tournaments, I mean, once again, I'm not trying to say that we should profit off of what's going on in Ukraine, but there's always those people that love storylines. I'm just gonna say that. Am I that person? No, but if you're thinking as like a media person, and I'm not saying that they're gonna rig this game for Ukraine for the storyline, but aside from the fact that Ukraine does have a very solid team.
No, I mean they do. Compared to the other teams, I believe Ukraine. It's kind of like they're a bit like the underdog. It's kind of like Turkey, Turkey.
I say this now, and Israel's also in this group.
Hector, don't say it. Just don't.
I'm not gonna say it, but I'm just saying storylines.
Nah, just don't.
I'm not picking a side. I refuse to throw my thoughts into that whole thing because I know I'm just gonna come off stupid. So I'm just not gonna. But it's just best to stay away from that. I'm pro people, okay? I'm not being sarcastic by that at all. I am actually just like I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, Israel's also a pretty good team as well. I'm not sugarcoating that in any way. Iceland, I mean, you remember when they qualified for the World Cup, the vibes were amazing. But after that, I really haven't heard much from them. But I mean, when you're looking at who is from this group alone, like who's the more complete team, Ukraine is a very solid team.
Oh yeah.
In Path C, we got Georgia versus Luxembourg. Don't mistake that for the state of Georgia. And Greece versus Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. I don't know why I said Kazaki. Kazakhstan. Greece is another good country. Kazakhstan has actually done really well in the qualifiers. Like I was having a lot of fun watching Kazakhstan. No, it's not because it's probably because of Borat. Like Borat forever has like ruined that country's like reputation. Because there's gonna be if Kazakhstan beats Path C, I guarantee you there's gonna be so many Borat memes being thrown out in the internet.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sasha Cohen, what's his name? Sasha, whatever the guy that played Borat. I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up to their game dressed up as Borat just to.
I feel like for his safety, I don't think he would want to. I don't know. I don't know if the people of Kazakhstan like embrace him or anything like that. I know they love Triple G. Freaking Gennady Golovin. I know they love that guy. Which I'm not gonna lie, like my brain for like the longest, I've only known Kazakhstan for one thing only, and obviously that's Borat. And I remember the first time I watched a Triple G fight, and after a fight they always like interview the winner, right?
Yeah.
And when Gennady Golovkin started talking, in that moment I was like, oh my god, the actor that played Borat really did a good job on the Kazakhstan accent. Like, I was like, oh my God, I thought he was just making fun of them. No, I was like, oh my God. And I was like, wow. But I'm pulling for Kazakhstan. I think Greece is going to come out of this group, but I'm pulling for Kazakhstan.
Okay.
Yeah, so once again, we'll have like a better better look at this when we get to it, but like obviously right now. Because things can change, injuries can happen. Other things can happen. So we'll just stick with that right now. But anyways, the draw. This is where, obviously everybody was in the auditorium watching these people twirl some soccer balls in a bowl, and announce the groups. It's always fun stuff. But here are the groups for the 2024 Euro. In Group A, we have Germany, Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland. I'll be honest with you, Germany should be winning this group. But then again, we don't know how Germany.
Yeah, you just said should be.
But I don't know what's going on. After that shellacking they gave to the U.S., they just have not been the same team. Switzerland's also a really good like dark horse team in the Euros. Well, not just in the Euros, but like just in competition in general. Switzerland's a really good team. Hungary is kind of quietly building a team over there. I'm not, don't sleep on Hungary. Scotland, they put up a good fight. I think there's been more players coming out in Scotland recently now. So that'll be an interesting team. But I will definitely say Germany should be coming out of this group pretty easily. Not easily, but it should be coming out on top of this group. Should.
You said should.
Everyone's so far the media's pick for Group B. For a group of death is Group B with Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania. I am so sorry, Albania, that you got put in this group. This is a gauntlet for Albania. You have a very pissed off Italy that didn't make it to the 2022 FIFA World Cup, won the Euro, the last Euro. Also, the pressure's on Germany because they're hosting this thing, by the way. I should have mentioned that.
Oh, they are?
I should have mentioned that part. Yeah, Germany is hosting this thing. Which makes sense as to why they're Group A. But yeah, no, going back to Group B, though. Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania. Yeah, you have the former winner, the most recent winner of the Euro, Italy. Croatia, who this team has dark... They've been a dark horse for such a long time now that I feel like we need to start giving them their flowers and just make them like a favorite at some point. And then there's Spain, and this new Spain is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So that is a tough group. I'm picking Spain to win that group, but that is going to be such a tough group to be in. Do I think it's the group of death? It's up there. I might change. My opinion might change as we get closer to the Euro, but right now it's definitely. I would say it is the group of death.
Okay.
But yeah, any thoughts on Group B?
No. It's pretty much. I think I'm probably gonna go if I had to choose. I'd probably go for Spain.
Okay. All right, man. All right, Group C, we have Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England.
Dude, England is just so much fun to watch.
England is fun to watch, but it's also hilarious watching them fall apart.
Yep.
They were literally a PK away from winning the Euro last time. Obviously Italy won. But yeah, England has so much to play for. I mean, Harry Kane, obviously new situation over at Bayern Munich. We'll see what this team looks like for 2024. Should be another fun team, probably another really good group. Hopefully, some new faces in England, but we'll see. Serbia is going to be an interesting team to see how they're developing now. Obviously, there's a lot of young names that are coming out of Serbia. Denmark, also another really good team in the tournament. Obviously, the last year we had the unfortunate incident that happened with Christian Eriksen. Not saying that has anything to do with them now, but I mean, still, that's going to be. I'm sure someone's going to bring that up, unfortunately. But I mean, aside from that, Denmark's always a really like sturdy, solid team. In these tournaments.
Yeah.
Slovenia, I have no idea about Slovenia, so I'm just really looking forward to watching Slovenia.
They might come out and surprise you. You never know.
Exactly. But I think most people would pick England, but I'm going with Denmark.
I'm going with England.
Okay. Obviously, this is just early predictions. It's not. Don't hold these accountable. Group D, we have the winner of Path A. So once again, that could be Poland, Estonia, Wales, or Finland. Taking on, that's going to be joining Netherlands, Austria, France. I'm going to tell you right now, if Poland wins Path A, Group D is the group of death.
Yeah, that is like very strong group.
I get Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania, but if you add Poland into that, I think that's a tougher group than Group B.
Yeah,
hands down. That's gonna be my hot take. If Poland wins Path A, Netherlands, Poland, Austria, and France is a tougher group than Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania. I will put this on the reel.
yeah. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that would be a very tough group. All right, man. Group E, Belgium, who's apparently old. Remember that. I'm never gonna let KDB down. Also, KDB, what the fuck was that for that video? It was like the weirdest video I ever saw in my life. You know what video I'm talking about?
Refresh my memory.
There's a video, like, I think some dude was trying to take like a jersey of KDB. KDB stands up and the guy just starts dancing. So then he starts dancing. I'll share it in our group chat. But it was just weird. I was like, what the hell is this? But yeah, so Belgium. I don't know, man. At this point, I have no faith in Belgium. But they should win.
Belgium's like, they're just getting old, man.
I mean, I think Lukaku should not be called up for this one. But we'll see. Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and the winner of Path B, which once again, Path B is Israel, Iceland, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Ukraine. Even with whoever wins that group, I still think Belgium should win this group. It's probably the easiest group in the whole tournament. Yeah, this is probably the easiest group.
Yeah,
if you're Belgium, okay, and I'm not. Apologies to Slovakia, Romania, and whoever wins.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, let's put it this way: if Ukraine wins Group B, I think Ukraine may actually come out of that one the winner.
Oh, I think they come out as a winner. I mean, I would think Ukraine would come out of this group, but yeah, but I'm just saying Belgium has no excuse into winning. Like they have no excuses. Like they are pound for pound the big dog in this one.
Yeah,
it's like you're like a big friggin' basset hound, and you're in a group with like 3 very feisty chihuahuas. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I'll give a Shih Tzu for Ukraine, but like, you should come out of this group on top. You should come out on top of this group. That's all I gotta say. Group F, Turkey, the winner of Path C, Portugal, and Czech Republic. Path C, just so you guys know, once again, it's Georgia, Luxembourg, Greece, and Kazakhstan. I think Greece would probably be the better opponent to be in this group. I'm not saying it's group of death level, but this would be the fun group.
I guess this would be like I guess you could call it the fun group. But I was like, honestly, I think this one would be between Turkey and Portugal. I think that's what it would be. Even
No,
if Greece came out of it.
Yeah, I agree with. But I'm just saying this is gonna be the fun group because like any of these teams, I could see any of these teams win. Portugal, maybe they're getting a little old. Greece would be a good opponent. Turkey, I think some people like sleep on Turkey too much. Czech Republic, another team that's kind of building something over there. So yeah. But obviously there's 6 groups, so I think that they do have, if I'm not mistaken, like that's 12 teams. Yeah, 12 teams that would advance. So I'm guessing like 4 of the best third place teams move on also for the 4 best for the group for the round of 16. I think that's how the tournament does it. I could be wrong. Once again, we'll do a more in-depth preview for the Euro when we get to the Euro, when we get close to the Euro, not now. But yeah, so it's that is the drawing. I think all in all, I think this is going to be a very fun tournament. Euro usually does really well. It's always fun. Obviously FIFA's already said they're gonna have like their what's it called, DLC for the tournament. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I Euro's usually a good one. I mean, the 2020 Euro, which was in 2020, was it 2021 that they had it? Yeah. The 2020 Euro, but it was in 2021. That was a fun tournament. There was a lot happened in that tournament. Obviously, it ended with Italy winning the whole thing. So I mean, the Euro is always a fun tournament to watch. And you're talking about another big summer of soccer because you have the Euro, you're gonna have the Copa America, which is gonna be also including CONCACAF in there. The Olympics is gonna be happening as well. So this summer, me and Edward are gonna have to find a way to take a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of soccer that's gonna be happening in the summer. But I'm excited for this tournament. Euro is always a fun competition. I know that we've spoken out about that we need to do better of being able to give these guys rests, and it's just hard. It really is. I think maybe you get rid of the Nations League. That's one thing that would do it. But yeah, But anyways, what are you excited for this 2024 Euro?
Yeah, I mean, you know me, like you said it yourself. I'm the Euro snob, so I'm always going to be I'm going to be basically looking at the young talent that Barcelona could probably snatch up.
With what money?
Exactly. It's just living on a hope and a prayer.
All right. So that is the drawing for the Euro. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and then you're going to hear me and Jose talk about the MLS Cup Final, and then you'll hear me and Edward talk about Liga MX, so get ready for that. Hey guys, this is Hector from the InsertName FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BellyUp20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BellyUp20 at CanadaDipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canada Dips for being a great partner of BellyUpSports. All right, guys. Conference semifinal. The conference finals. Semifinals also technically. But it's over. Do I want to remember it? Hell no. But it happened, and we do have an MLS Cup Final. And, of course, obviously joining us to continue talking about the MLS Cup is, of course, Jose Tellez of Golz TV. This is brought to you by Golz TV. Golz TV is the Hulu streaming service equivalent to soccer content here in the United States. So if you guys want to know what us dumb Yanks are thinking about this beautiful game, well, there is your one-stop shop for all things soccer content here in the U.S., and Jose Tellez is the mastermind behind it.
I appreciate that, bro. Thanks for having me, Hector. I'm kind of excited to talk about the MLS Cup Final. I say kind of just because, like, man, it my predictions went totally off the rails, bro. Totally. Like, I was so bullish on picking the teams that I picked, and it just didn't pan out that way, man. So I know your boys down in Houston didn't get it, and I had them going through, but the other side didn't work out for me either, for being honest.
Yeah, I'm sure Xiaoyang will never let it go for you about the whole supporter shield thing. But all right, so we'll go right into it, man. The Eastern Conference Finals. Third place Columbus Crew beats FC Cincinnati 3-2 in a game that it looked very comfortable for FC Cincinnati for the beginning part of the game, and then it just had Christian Ramirez came in. That's what happened. Christian Ramirez comes into the game, and Columbus Crew goes ahead and scores 3 unanswered goals, and now FC Cincinnati has to be reminded that they gave up a 2-0 lead. Which, to be honest, is probably one of the most dangerous leads in soccer because you get a little bit, I don't want to say ignorant, but you do end up being a little confident, especially for a team that's still pretty new to FC Cincinnati. All of this is still pretty new to them. You know, first time Supporter Shield winner, first time first seed, first time heavy favorite, right? And so they go in, they got this comfortable 2-0 lead in their home stadium against their rival. Nothing could fall apart. And, you know, Christian Ramirez comes into the game, a very just awful own goal that happens for, I believe it was Powell that ends up putting in that own goal. And yeah, it just kept tumbling down until then Christian Ramirez does end up scoring the winner for Columbus Crew. But yeah, Columbus Crew wins it in Ohio. I will say, though, an amazing conference final. To have it be the Hell is Real derby, and it's just amazing game. But I mean, you were really confident in FC Cincinnati. You said until proven wrong, the Supporter Shield winner should be the top dog. I guess you're proven wrong now.
I tell you what, I've been thinking about that for a while, and I don't know if I was necessarily proven wrong. I don't think Cincinnati proved me wrong at all. I think in a match where I heard a lot of noise about Vasquez hadn't scored in playoffs yet, the MVP hadn't scored in playoffs yet. You know, those guys showed up, man. They showed up, got, you know, an early 2-0 lead on arguably the most complete team in MLS. I still think that they showed out in a big way, and I think this is what Columbus Crew does. They force you to, like, question the validity of someone as big as, or I should say, as successful as Cincinnati has been this season, right? We start to question all of the opinions we've had about this team, when in reality, they've been good. They were good in that conference final. I just don't think they were able to keep up, man. I think it just felt like Columbus had this clutch factor that I didn't account for, that maybe the prediction guy himself, Xiaoyang of Red Green TV, was able to account for. But I will not blame this on Cincinnati losing the game. I will credit all in the world to Columbus Crew and their ability to clutch up when it matters most. You mentioned before Christian Ramirez. That guy's got ice in his veins, like unlike anybody I've seen in MLS in at least a few seasons. Dude, he has just over 90 minutes totally played in all of the playoffs. Diego Rossi, his teammate, has like 4 to 5x of that, right? Like hundreds of minutes played. And they're tied on goals. Like something about Christian Ramirez, just his clutch factor, his ability to be called upon by Wilfred Nancy, come onto the pitch, say, hey, son, go out there, do what you do. I have all the confidence in the world, and he delivers time and time again. I mean, you can't prepare for that. You can't coach that defensively either. You know, he comes in at a time when maybe the legs aren't quite underneath a defense in Cincinnati that's missing Matt Miazga, and there's a lot of you know MLS fans right now, that especially Cincinnati fans, that are blaming him for the L. I mean, that shit's kind of crazy. I mean, it's yes, you didn't have him. Yes, it was kind of due to his own fault, but you're still the reigning Supporter Shield winners, right? You should be able to get up for a game like this, and they did. But Columbus, just when it mattered most, they showed up. They got the goals they needed in the most crucial moments. The first goal came at a really interesting time as far as timing wise. The second goal came minutes minutes from the game being over. And then of course the winner, right? The winner coming minutes before penalty kicks. Like that type of just ice in your veins performance of Columbus Crew, I will give them the credit, all the credit in the world. I'm not a Crew hater. I honestly don't have that much of stock vested in most Eastern Conference teams. I love the underdog, and I felt like going into this game, even though they were Supporters Shield winners, Cincinnati was being treated a little bit as the underdog when I didn't see a real reason why. So, for me, they still had a hell of a performance, hell of a run in the playoffs. I expect nothing but improvement for 2024 because that's the precedent that they've set with their 2023 performance. But, dude, the Crew, man, you just got a feeling that, right? There's no way they could do that in the Eastern Conference Final and not find a way to put it all together for MLS Cup. It would be very underwhelming if that was the case.
Yeah, I think what you said is right about FC Cincinnati. I think, beside the fact that they gave up a 2-0 lead, they still played an amazing performance. The game still went to extra time. It took the final minutes for Columbus Crew to come back into that game. And I mean, but on the other side, you got to give props to the mentality that Columbus Crew had to continue to press forward, even though you're in a very rough, going in rough into the first half, knowing that you're down 2-0, and especially after that Lucho Acosta banger free kick, I that was just good God, I dropped my phone actually. Thank God I have carpet. But yeah, it was just it was an amazing goal, and I was like, yeah, I thought that was the nail in the coffin right there. I was like, all right, the MVP puts in the back of the net. But Columbus Crew, once again, one of the things that I've been kind of saying, it's about those teams that are able to win in different ways. Columbus Crew, throughout this playoffs, has shown that they were able to win in different ways, different fashions. And it also, the sugar on top, they are the most complete team in the MLS going into this final. So I think I felt pretty confident that Columbus Crew could make it to the final. I said if they were able to pass up Orlando, I felt like they could. It's a clear path for them to the MLS Cup. Nothing against FC Cincinnati, but I just felt like they just flipped that switch when it came time. But yeah, Columbus Crew moving on to the MLS Cup Final.
And I will say this one more thing, Hector. I think this the comeback that the Crew were able to put together, right? The coming down from behind 0-2. Some will say Cincinnati choked it. I don't think that comeback happens against any other team. I think the only other team that could have put this together across all of MLS was the Crew. Had Cincinnati, let's imagine a world where they went to the MLS Cup Final. Had they been up 2-0 on either LAFC or Houston, I don't think either team would have been able to come back. I feel like they are a winning team. They have that mentality. I don't know if it's a gene per se, right? But I think they do have some of that. I think the Crew, with how dynamic they are, just led by Nante's tactics, were able to adjust enough. And you could tell, Wilfred Nante was worried, bro. He was worried on the sideline. You could tell he was stressing when they were down 0-2. He made a lot of adjustments just tactically in terms of how they were set up, who made runs when, and how much they overloaded Cincinnati offensively. So I think that this is the only team that could have done this. I think had it been anybody else, had Cincinnati found a way through, I don't even see Denny Bawanga and LAFC and the Crew, pulling off that type of upset. We saw it against Houston. They're not we'll talk about it, right? They're not a possession-based team. Crew legitimately in the second half against Cincy had the majority of the possession. They were slamming it down Cincinnati's throat, just trying to really create that opportunity. And they did. So kudos to them. They deserve to be in MLS Cup.
Yep. Now going to the Western Conference Final, unfortunately. LAFC beats the Houston Dynamo 2-0. Honestly, I would argue that scoreline could probably be a lot more. But the way I took it from watching that game, LAFC just outdogged the Houston Dynamo. They played in a very physical, in-your-face type of way throughout the game. They never let the Dynamo build any play up. They didn't let Hector Herrera do much, get time with the ball. Same thing with Arthur. Same thing with Coco Carrasquilla. They shut down the wing play. That was impressive, the way that they performed defensively. And I think they were just buying their time. I think that's exactly what LAFC was doing throughout that game, was just, let's just get in their face, and when our opportunity comes, we'll take it. And that's exactly what they did. That style of play, I will tell you, is a very frustrating style if you're the team that has to play against it. And I can tell you, I was watching it and I was getting frustrated. Because you know what you're best suited for, which is being able to build through the midfield, and the Dynamo just couldn't do it. And you can see them rushing things out. They ended up, and you know it's bad when you have to just fuck it. I'll just take a shot from outside the box and see if it goes in. Crepo had a pretty good performance as well. I got to add to that as well. But LAFC,
yeah,
I think simply just outdogged the Houston Dynamo.
Yeah, I think Crepo's been that dude since he came back, right? Like he's slowly been getting back to what he was, even leading into. Everyone remembers the injury he underwent, in their run up to MLS Cup last season. I think, his comeback has been real. I think, I keep going back to Xiaoyan and Rave Green TV and him not giving Crepo, enough credit in my opinion. Regarding his performances, especially against Seattle in the playoffs and the run up to this point. But I think he's been solid, man, and he showed it again against Houston. It's crazy. This match felt like a European match in the sense that, very rarely, I think in MLS do you see teams with this much possession not walk away with something, right? I think the Houston Dynamo did that. And they had that, what was it, 65, 70% of the ball. And really just weren't able to convert. I mean, that was the story of the day. LAFC countered extremely well. It wasn't the Bowanga show that I expected. And I think that's credit to Houston, right? I think they were able to find interesting ways of isolating him. But set pieces, man. My boy Ryan Hollingshed, I say my boy because for those who aren't aware, he was an FC Dallas player for almost a decade before moving over to LAFC in that Marco Farfan trade. And, the guy is just, I wouldn't say he's the most clutch defender in the world, but he's such a versatile player. He can really contribute in the offense as a defender in so many different ways. And I really do think he's one of the best outside backs MLS has to offer. He got that goal to open things up. Dude, the Escobar own goal was the nail in the coffin in like a really sad way. I kind of felt for Houston when that happened. I was like, damn, it's over. It's like if there was any shot at coming back, I felt like that just deflated the entire team. But look, man, with all of this said, like it was a massively close final. I think Houston Dynamo and their fans should be very proud of how much this team has evolved. I won't say changed, how much they have evolved over the course of the 2023 season. The expectations, I think, couldn't be higher heading into 2024. And, from LAFC perspective, this is where they were supposed to be, right? I think Houston had the best opportunity to disrupt that, right? And really prevent them from getting to the final. But this is where they were supposed to be. This with as good as Bouanga has been all season, with the missed opportunities in Leagues Cup and the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Like all of those dropped balls have led to where they are now, and they're going to be amped up as hell to win MLS Cup Final, but they do have a massive hill in front of them to climb. So, but look, man, Houston, when I'm talking to you, Hector, or any other fan out there, Houston fans have a lot to be proud of. And I would say in the final home game of the season for the Dynamo, you delivered something for the fans, and I'm sure they're going to remember for quite some time. So there are going to be moves this offseason. Players are going to step out. I'm sure, Olsen's going to bring more talent in. But if it even gets close to what it was this season in terms of the players that are coming in to help the team, man, being an FC Dallas fan myself, I am worried about the Dynamo. So 2-0 does not speak to this game, not effectively. I think it was a super close game all the way through. LAFC just had really the firepower and I think the mentality to get this one over the line. That was pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think most Dynamo fans, I don't think anybody thought that this is how the year was going to go. Obviously, going from 13th place in the Western Conference last year to now being in the Western Conference Finals, Open Cup. Now, next season they're eligible for the CONCACAF Champions League for winning the U.S. Open Cup. So now they have that tournament going on. So it is going to be big on how Ben Olsen, Pat Onstad and Asher, the technical director for the Dynamo, how they go about this season, because now you're going to need that depth more so than ever. I mean, any team that's having to compete in all these tournaments, LAFC is one that definitely understands that. I mean, I don't know how often do we have to hear Steve Cherundolo complain about that, but so now that's but for the first time ever since a long time, the Dynamo fans have expectations. Like there's most people, the reason behind the poor attendance, the reason behind just like the very lack of support from this team is because there was a point where the ownership group that was here before Ted Siegel just didn't care. And now that Ted Siegel's come in, you can see how much has changed just overall, how the stadium has been rebuilt from just little things that like maybe there's some Dynamo fans that are still negative Nancy's that just complain about everything. But I think the mesh seating was clutch. I think how they built that stadium, creating some sort of club level sort of experience on one side of the stadium was also brilliant. The Dynamo marketing team has always been great. It's just now people are now noticing it. But it's you're seeing a new different culture now here with the Dynamo, so it's exciting. Hector Herrera, a great person that I've gotten the pleasure to get to know of, loves the city. He told me that he actually personally told me that he loves Houston. He loves it there. There's no other place that he wanted to be at. So like it's crazy how it's gonna look. Hopefully they bring back Griffin Dorsey. Hopefully they go after a 9, because I think that's gonna be a big addition for the team. Hopefully not someone with that name rhymes with Lalesh and Ferreira. Get his KSC loving ass out of here. But maybe try to bring back Christian Ramirez. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, that guy, I don't know what it is. I really don't. Like I said, I think he's just and people will say like, oh, somebody's coming off the bench, as a super sub. You can't expect that for the long term. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Ramirez could offer either the Crew or any other team that picks him up for next season and beyond a ton, whether it's off the bench or even as a starter. But yeah, I mean, I think Houston. Go back to Houston. I think that what they've done. Yeah, 100%. But I think what the Crew, what the Dynamo have done, right, is this season they have if anybody here watches Wake Up MLS on Golz TV, I think Hernan from We Are Austin TV said it really well. They provided certain clubs around this league with the blueprint, right? Like with an opportunity. I think cough cough Colorado Rapids, cough cough. I think it's like clubs like that, right? Where you feel like ownership has not given up, but they've made the minimal investment. They've kept things afloat. They've, offered enough encouragement to bring most of the fans back to an extent, but not really gone above and beyond to build a winning organization. I think that, for those fans, right? Like the Rapids, for example, I think this is a blueprint you can realistically follow, right? If you have a director, a manager who understand not just the type of players they need to make a system work, but the mentality of the player they need to win, right? Not just, play a certain type of soccer on the field, but actually win games, win big games, and make deep runs into not just MLS Cup playoffs, but other trophy cabinet opportunities within, throughout the broader season. I give all the credit to Houston Dynamo. They've kind of created this blueprint that other teams can follow. So I don't know if other teams will follow suit. I think that there's a lot of to like about what Houston did this season that was pretty unique to them. But man, I got to tip the cap, man. I'm really hoping that we kind of here in Dallas make some money moves that are similar to what Houston did this past season.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. So I'm definitely excited for the future of the Dynamo. But there is an MLS Cup Final. It is going to be December 9th. Obviously, every year, my birthday always falls in line with the MLS Cup. My birthday is December 12th. Obviously, it's not, but most people celebrate on the weekend. Let's have a party on a Tuesday. That's actually a song too, by the way. Not that I think about it. So MLS Cup Final, December 9th. It's going to be free on Apple TV. No one has any fucking excuse. You can go on Apple TV, watch it for free. It's going to be at least 3 p.m. Central Time. But Columbus Crew, LAFC, it's in Columbus, Ohio. Honestly, if you're a U.S. men's national team fan, you know that that's one of the ultimate home field advantages. Unless you're going to Minnesota because you're facing off Honduras and El Salvador. What is it? We'll start with LAFC. I feel like they're the underdogs going into this game. At least that's how I would look at them right now. Even though they're the returning champions. I hate the phrase defending champions because it makes no sense to me. But they're at a prime opportunity to pull a back-to-back championship, something that hasn't been done since I think the LA Galaxy. Actually, weirdly enough, I think it could be that far
Yeah.
back since we had a back.
There hasn't been a back-to-back champ in a while.
So they're attempting to go for that. And so, what does LAFC need to do to be a repeating champion?
I think that this is the one strength LAFC really has this season, outside of the whole Denny Bouanga hype train, right? Anybody I think who's even watched LAFC play a handful of times this season at all understands how powerful that man is and how important he is to their attack. But what I will also say is that this is I think a stat. There's a stat running around there that not many fans are focusing on, which is that LAFC have not been scored on in like 300 plus minutes. In the last 300 plus minutes available to play, LAFC have not conceded a goal. The most impressive from my perspective was not conceding to Seattle in Seattle, right? Beating Seattle in a game, in a playoff game that frankly they haven't lost since 2012, right? So to me, that was the most impressive performance. They did host Houston again and again shut them out. And so, and again, shut out a team that I felt going into that game was one of the more high octane offenses we've seen all year throughout MLS. And so I was expecting Houston to pump in at least a goal, and they were still, even if it was through standout performances from Crepo or just, a little bit of luck going their way, they were able to, again, hold another clean sheet. So for me, I think while Columbus does have the advantage in terms of total team play, I rate LAFC's backline more than I rate Columbus's backline. And part of that is due to the tactics, right? Part of that is due to Wilfred Nancy's, 3-4-2-1 formations he likes to run, right? And he likes to be very, very open and dynamic. And it's, for that reason, right? They gave up 2 goals against Cincinnati. But I think, that back line, the veteran leadership of Chiellini, Murillo seems to be playing like a tried and true center back right now next to him. Dude, Palacios is like a revelation in terms of just, forward going production. The amount of cutting passes he's able to put into the attacking third is second to none in MLS. I think there's a lot to like about the back line for LAFC, and I would consider it to be the rock. If they have any chance of winning this final, it's going to be because of their back line, not necessarily because of their ability to score goals through Bouanga.
No, yeah, I think with LAFC, I think you add that part, and I think another thing that I don't think people are at least mentioning much is the physicality of how LAFC plays. Being able to see how they were able to do that with the Dynamo, and I think that physicality will be would be something they should be able to take into that Columbus Crew game. Because Columbus Crew also a really good midfield that they have there as well. If they're able to even just do somewhat similar to what they were able to do with Dynamo and just make that midfield a non-factor into the game, LAFC could easily just once again just buy their time and find their opportunities. And so that's where I see where LAFC has the best chance at winning this game, is being able to do exactly what they did with the Dynamo.
Yeah, I think LAFC is very happy to give up possession. I think Hollingshed said that in the post-game interviews, right? It was like, look, I think we should only worry, and Cherundolo echoed his sentiment a little bit. We should only worry if they're creating meaningful chances from the possession that they have, which he considered Houston chances to really not be that meaningful, right? In the grand scheme of things. And so I think they do that again, when they think about game planning for the rampant attack that Columbus is going to throw at them, I think they're going to be okay with giving up possession. They're going to be okay with conceding all of that and just limiting the amount of opportunities created by guys like Diego Rossi, guys like Cucho Hernandez, and even deeper into that midfield, right? Nagby and Morris kind of starting all of that off for them. I think they're going to be okay. Let them have the ball, so long as that they're not, stretching the back line so much that meaningful chances are being created. So we'll see, man. That's going to be the key to victory for LAFC for me.
Yeah, and now you go on the other side, which is, I would argue, is probably the favorite, especially because it's going to be in Columbus, Ohio, and that's the Columbus Crew. As many regarded as like the most complete team in this tournament. Obviously, what makes them different versus the other teams that LAFC has faced off so far in the playoffs, and what's their edge going into this final?
Man, I think, well, one, you mentioned before, right? The edge well, I won't say this is the edge, but this is a massive X factor, is the home field advantage, right? We've seen away, they've conceded 4 on the road to Atlanta, 2 on the road to Cincinnati. Like they're very capable on the road of leaking goals, and some of that is due to the back line they run. They run a 3 in the back formation, and they leave themselves open to counters. But with that said, it's still a very high octane offense team. I think that they're very confident in their ability to match any of the goals that they concede, and that's where a crowd like the one in Columbus is going to be able to, I think, really feast on the mentality of the LAFC players. I think that the minute that a goal goes in from Columbus's standpoint, it's going to be loud, it's going to be crazy. I think that the environment is going to be massive, right? And especially when you think about some of the things they're going to be celebrating, right? If they're able to put this all together with some of the players who've come in middle of the season, it'll be a massive victory for Nancy's boys. So the crowd's going to be a massive factor, but outside of that, I think the true indicator of success for Columbus Crew in this game, oh man, I think I have to put it down to one player. It probably has to be Cucho, and not in the obvious way. And what I mean by that is I expected Cucho Hernandez, with how productive he was in the regular season, to be a monster in playoffs. He hasn't really been that for me. He's actually been slightly underwhelming. I think some of the goals he's put away have been when nothing was really on the line, right? There's been an open net against Orlando. It's an extra time goal here and there when the team he's playing against has basically dead on the field. They're not, the effort isn't there so much. The legs are gone. And, he kind of uses his European experience to get around them at that point. I think Cucho needs to be a massive presence from the get-go in this game. Like, he needs to be everywhere. He needs to be pressing everything. He needs to be getting 2, 3, 4, 5 shots in the first half alone. I think that they need to force this back line back as far back as they possibly can. And if they don't do that, the longer that it remains 0-0, the more that it favors LAFC. That's just kind of how I see it. Don't get me wrong, the Crew are 1,000% the favorites. They should be. They're the most talented. Well, they're probably the most either talented or complete team collectively in MLS, and they're playing at home. But LAFC, I mean, make no mistake, right? They're experienced. They've been here before as recently as last season, and they could double up. And so, I don't know, man. This could be. I thought last season was going to be the most banger MLS Cup final we would have seen in a long time, because Philly was Philly. They were a dominant force in the East, and then you had the star-studded lineup of LAFC. Gareth Bale was still in MLS and had those crazy goals. And now you don't have that per se, but it feels like it's even bigger somehow. So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if we're making predictions just yet, but I can see this going to extra time. I don't think it's going to be settled in the regulation or the regular 90.
Oh yeah. I'll before we do predictions, what is your key player to watch from both teams?
Ooh, from LAFC, I think it's got to be guys like Chiellini. I think it has to be. I think he needs to step up in the back, which he always kind of does, right? But sometimes you see a little bit of shithousery come from him. I think he's got to use the breadth of experience that he has, right? You think back to his days with Bonucci at Juventus and how much they actually won, both there and even with the Italian national team. I think he needs to be instilling all of that championship confidence in his team. I think it will start in the back for them, and they can really kind of use that to gain momentum as the match goes along. So everything he does well will affect positively the rest of the team. I think he's the key for LAFC, and I think for the Crew, I don't know if there's a key per se. For me, I think the most important player is going to be Darlington Nagbe. I just think everything will flow through him. Whether it's the possession and how they move the ball, or if it's where the meaningful chances that get created start. I think everything flows through Nagbe. He's vying for his 4th MLS Cup victory, and he could very well get it, man. So I don't know. Another very experienced player that everyone in that locker room should be leaning on when it comes to how to win MLS Cup. Those 2 guys are, I think, the driving forces for each of their respective teams.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Crapo for LAFC.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's definitely a confidence with that back line, knowing that when you have a really good goalkeeper, you could tell that that backline plays with a certain confidence going into that, knowing that if they make a mistake, they have that support from the goalkeeper. And I mean, obviously, if you're talking about storylines, this is probably like the best storyline as you can get. The man that, you know, unfortunately sacrificed his leg to prevent a goal, literally last year, to come back and be able to bring this team back to the MLS Cup Final and get a chance to actually. And I mean, yes, he won the MLS Cup last year. Like, I don't think anybody's going to take that away from him. But obviously, he's not going to do that. Like, he's going to say, no, I need to be the guy that wins it. And so for him, this is like that full circle moment. Crazy enough that it was a year ago that it all happened, but to be able to, one, recover from that, and two, to now be back in that same situation and be able to bring your team another championship. It's second championship back to back. For like, it's been a long time since we've seen the MLS team do it. Would be a great story arc for him. And then on the other side, I mean, look, the Columbus Crew went all out to bring this guy in. You know, they lost. Trying to remember the Zella Ryan. You know, he went to Europe. They got rid of that number 10 to bring in another number 10 in Diego Rossi. You know, this is kind of the reason why that he was brought here. I know, Darlington Navy definitely is the huge X factor. I agree 100%. But I think this, you know, Columbus Crew felt like they were missing one piece, and I would argue that Diego Rossi is looked at as that extra piece that they needed. Because I think a lot of people thought it was crazy that Zella Ryan was easily let go that way to go to, I believe, Saudi Arabia is where he ended up going, or somewhere around there. But for him to,
but 2 days later they signed Rossi,
and 2 days later they signed Rossi. So clearly they were okay with moving on from Zella Ryan to bring in Diego Rossi, a guy that has MLS experience. We're also full circle moment for him because he's facing his former team in LAFC. So there's story arcs everywhere, man. There's a story everywhere.
Yeah. And I'll say this about Rossi. Look, I think there's gonna be pressure on Rossi. I think you know, I still think the X factor is going to be Nagby, but I think that, you know, if there's a player that needs to feel like there's some pressure on him to deliver outside of Cucho for that team, it's going to be Diego Rossi. I know he scored in the last game against Cincinnati, and that was a clutch as hell goal. I respect to that, but he hasn't done much outside of that, in my opinion, for someone who was coming from Fenerbahce, right? A Champions League level squad into Major League Soccer. And I was expecting more than 5 goals and 6 assists. Like I just was, you know, I was expecting more production, and maybe that could have been a little naive from my perspective, right? In terms of how difficult it can be to transition from a major European league into Major League Soccer. It's just different, you know, all the way around. But with that said, I mean, he's definitely talented enough to have better production. And so I think, you know, and he probably knows that himself, probably understands that. But I just think with him being, you know, someone that as a player, I've always seen hold himself to a certain standard. I think he's going to be gunning for some kind of major contribution to this game, and rightfully so. I think that we should all be expecting a little bit more from Diego Rossi.
Exactly. All right. It's time for predictions. Who do you got going to win the, I don't know why I said going. Who do you got winning the 2023 MLS Cup?
Man, I haven't done this really all bracket outside of like the blatantly obvious matchups like the wild card around 1, but I think I really have to go with the home team. Man, the Crew look like, I alluded to it before a little bit when we were talking about how the Eastern Conference Final went. It would be a shame if Crew put on a performance like they did against Cincinnati in the Hell is Real Derby, put all that work into winning the Eastern Conference just to not tie it all together with a fancy bow on top in the MLS Cup Final. I think the Crew should do this. I think Wilfred Nancy has assembled a true team of winners, and we've seen how important that is mentally for other teams out there like the Houston Dynamo. That mentality aspect of it all can't be ignored. I think that they have that. The LAFC have that as well. I'm not saying they don't. I just think it's not collective. I think they have big players who step up in big moments, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to truly contest a very strong collective in the Crew for 90 minutes plus. So I think it's going to be close. I do think there's going to be multiple goals in this game. If I had to put a number on as far as the prediction goes, I would go as far as saying 2-1 to the Crew. I think LAFC it's going to be hard to keep them off the score sheet. Then maybe it's Bouanga, maybe it's somebody else, but they're going to get a goal. I just think Crew are going to outscore them, and they're going to let the home crowd fuel them all the way to the MLS Cup victory. So I got the Crew 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, I've been praising the Columbus Crew for quite some time this season now because, like I said, they look like the most complete team. And there's a difference between best team and complete team. I do think FC Cincinnati was the best team going into this tournament. But I mean, when you're talking about a complete team, everybody's clicking in all cylinders. Everyone plays as a unit, and that is what Columbus Crew is. I don't think we're gonna see a team repeat this year, or maybe not for quite some time. I don't think repeating is gonna be as easy as people think it's gonna be. This LAFC team, while they had their moments, I just don't think they're just that good enough compared to the Columbus Crew. There's a reason why most of the Eastern Conference teams were above a lot of the Western Conference teams, especially overall records. And so, yeah, Columbus Crew, I think, handles this game. I'm sure there's going to be some struggles. I mean, with a back three, who's to say who's the lucky one or unlucky one, depending on how you feel, but who's going to have to cover Denny Bouanga. But I think with that midfield, yeah, I think Columbus Crew comes in and wins this game. I'm gonna say 3-1. I think they put this out of reach.
Oh wow!
I think they put this out of reach in the final minutes to remove any hope for LAFC. So,
man, the disrespect to LAFC, that's crazy.
Yeah. Also,
yeah, man, it's gonna be close.
I always love a revenge game. I love revenge games, and Diego Rossi. It's a Diego Rossi revenge game.
Yeah, it definitely is, bro. I mean, like I said, he's got more than enough motivation. I think Rossi needs to show up in a big way. But you know, even if he does what he's been doing, I'm not saying he's not contributing, right? But you expect goals out of Rossi, at least goal contributions. And I think even if he doesn't, the scary part about the Crew is that you have Christian Ramirez just waiting on the bench, just waiting to come in and maybe notch that third goal that you're talking about, put it behind the LAFC defense when it matters the most at the very end of the game, just completely kill the game off. That could be it. It could be a Ramirez type of situation. So whether it's Rossi or anybody else, man, I think the Crew just have a ton of options to come at you with, and they'll be ready for this game, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, MLS Cup this weekend, Saturday, December 9th, 3 p.m. Central Time. There's no excuse. It's going to be free on Apple TV. It's easy to download. You don't have to worry about. I mean, unless you have an iPhone. Unless you don't have an iPhone, then that's a whole different story. But if you have a smart TV, you can download Apple TV. I got a Roku, so there's no excuse. If it's on Roku, it's on everywhere else. So
yep.
So make sure you guys check it out. I think it's going to be a great final, despite the 3-1 scoreline that I predicted. It's going to be a really good final. I'm excited for it. Would have been more excited if it was the Dynamo, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. The final is here, and I can't wait for it. But Jose Tellez, obviously, this isn't going to be the last time we see you this year because obviously we're going to have to recap the final. Obviously, thank you for being able to come in because if you weren't here, it would just be me talking, and then we're just quietly just not knowing what the fuck to say. So I appreciate that much.
Man, absolutely.
So go ahead and shamelessly plug whatever you want to plug, whatever's new that's going on with Golz TV.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I think with Golz TV, I feel like I say the same thing every week, but I mean, just go check it out. If you're a soccer fan, I feel pretty damn confident that you're going to love the content. We brought on at least 5 or 6 new creators this last month alone. They're all excited to be on the platform, meet every one of the fans who are coming in to consume their content. And so, if, like I said before, you know, whether you're a fan of any one given MLS club, if you're a Premier League fan, Serie A, La Liga, whatever it may be, there's something on that platform for you. And these are all fans just like you, creating content and putting their opinions on the internet to build some sense of community while this sport is technically still considered niche on this part of the world here in North America. So for anybody who checks it out, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate it. It's my baby. And if you ever want to have a chat about where we see this thing going, I mean, hit me up. My Twitter handle at It's Bromigo. Always happy to chat. But outside of that, man, Hector, thanks for having me on, bro. These MLS talks are always a good time. Happy to recap the final. Hopefully, I have better luck. Like I said, predictions in the conference finals were fucking terrible. And so maybe I'll have better luck in the actual MLS Cup Final. We'll see, man. But like Hector said, if you tune into any part of MLS this season, guys, go watch the final. Go watch the final. Like, just go watch it. Like, if your team got knocked out, like, it is what it is. Like, you know, I mean, shit, dude, I made it only into one round in the playoffs. So as far as being as Dallas fans considered, I'm still locked in. Go check it out. It's a good time. The season's about to be over. A lot of crazy moves and transfers coming in the offseason. And there's more footy talk to be had, man. So go check that out. Apple TV Plus, Saturday, 3 p.m. Central.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you so much, Jose. We're going to go ahead and transition right over to me and Edward recapping the quarterfinals of Liga MX and previewing the semifinals, because that's also going on as well. By the time this episode, just a little disclaimer. Obviously, by the time this episode drops, the first legs have already been played. So if me and Edward have any dumb takes about who wins in these rounds, we get it. We get it. But
receipts.
Yeah. So, but just as a disclaimer, but yeah, so we're going to go ahead and segue over to the Liga MX playoffs talk. All right. Thank you once again, Jose, for coming on to talk MLS Cup. We're not done with Jose. We're going to have him obviously for one more week to recap the final. So there's still more to come from Jose Tellez. Also check out all his stuff at Golz.TV. You'll probably see me there for Wake Up MLS, where they're talking MLS Cup as well. So, you know, you can go ahead and check me out there at Golz TV. Once again, it's free to subscribe. Go ahead and check it out. But Liga MX, man, the quarterfinals is done. And yeah, it went kind of the way it went. That's all I got to say. In the first quarterfinal, we had first place Club America beat Club Leon 4-2. And I will say, the story of all this is the first legs all went how I would have wanted it to go, because that meant that the second leg actually meant something. Because when you keep it close, when like the first, so anyway, well, you'll get it. So first leg of the America Club Leon game was a 2-2 draw, and then in the second leg, America just went ahead and won 2-0. But like I said, I like it when the first leg is close, because the second leg is very important to how it's going to end for both these teams. So I appreciate that at least was competitive. Because it sucks when someone gets blown out like 5-0, and it's like, what do we do in the second leg?
Right.
So it's one.
And I think it was like at home, at America's home, right?
Yeah, the second leg's always at the higher seed. Which is like, some people complain about, like, oh, you know, I have to wait for that. Like, for people that are like the MLS fans, that we try to explain like the 2-leg system, because I think the real advantage would be that home leg.
Yeah.
Because like, especially if you're like, it's 1-1, oh sweet, I get to go back to our home stadium, be with our home crowd, have them deal with that environment in a playoff setting. Now it's different when you're down 5-0, because I mean, home field advantage does nothing for you.
Yeah, at that point you just, yeah.
But I still think I think MLS should go into a 2-leg system instead of that 3-game best of 3 playoff thing. But that's just me. But anyways, so America won the first. Well, the first leg was tied 2-2, and then America ends up winning 2-0. So America advances. So they haven't choked yet. America is still in this tournament. I'm sure they'll choke eventually. The second matchup, the only upset in the quarterfinals, 7th place Atlético San Luis beat second place Monterrey 2-1. The first
that was surprising.
Yeah, I was, bro. I'm pulling for San Luis. I want them to make it to the final. They're probably not.
I'm sure,
but that was a good one. But yeah, Atlético San Luis, they won the first leg 1-0, and then going into the second leg, going into Monterrey, a preferred situation for Monterrey. But we're only able to come out with a 1-1 draw. Atlético San Luis advances to the semifinal. So I see you, Atlético. I see you, Atlético San Luis. Me and Edward are actually pulling for you guys.
Yeah, we're going for the For the underdogs. We always go for the underdogs.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie right now. I'm gonna probably stop being a Toluca fan because I'm not really that good of a Toluca fan. So I'll just be pure Liga MX. I think Edward is like that too.
Yep.
I don't think Edward actually has a team in Liga MX.
I don't.
But yeah, Monterrey. Sheesh. That's all I gotta say. Like what happened? If you're a Tigres fan, you're probably trolling those guys mad hard, and that's gotta suck because you're in the same city.
Yep.
Imagine if you just gotta come into work the next day. That's gotta suck. Because it's like what, like I think same thing like the Madrids or like every team in London, but like, because you're gonna socialize with people of the other team. So imagine being at the water cooler if you're a Monterrey fan right now in Monterrey.
God, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be them. Third place Tigres beats sixth place Puebla. First leg ended with a 2-2 draw, but then Tigres opened the floodgates over there in Monterrey with a 3-0 victory against Puebla.
Mm-hmm.
So Tigres still that team. Also Gignac.
Oh yeah,
he's Mexican, bro. He is so Mexican. Like listening to, I think he has a podcast now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because he was talking with, I don't know if it was Chicharito that had one of them has a podcast, but like him and Chicharito were talking, and dude, this guy talks Mexican, and I mean what I mean when I say that, but like like
no mames way,
no mames way, ese way, son chingones, like bro, just like that dude's never. That dude traded his baguette for a tortilla. Like that's exactly what that guy did. He left France. It's all like Andre Pierre Gignac going to Tigres is always to me like the craziest thing to have ever happened, because it was just like, how, like when did these two like meet up? You know what I mean? Like how did that interaction start? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was always wondering too.
And I mean, I get it. Like people in Europe are most likely to be multilingual. Like it's not shocking for someone that's French that speaks Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese. Like it's not shocking over there in Europe. But it was just like this guy comes to a country that he's never been in, moves into Monterrey, Mexico. I think he got a citizenship. I could be wrong on that one. But like this dude just and then he got like,
bro, he's been living there for years.
People to come to Mexico. Sure. He got Thaven. It didn't work out with Thaven, but I mean like this dude is just like, he's Mexican, like,
yeah,
and he loves it. Like the dude loves Mexico.
Yeah.
So like, what a guy! But like that's, to me, that's gonna be like the best storyline from Liga MX is just Andre Pierre. But yeah. He sounded like just super, like he's Mexican. Like he is legitimately a Mexican. Like I don't think anybody's going to question his Mexicanism, his Mexican, or I don't know what the hell they call it. I'm sure he can do a grito.
I'm sure
he can. Like, dude. But yeah, like him, like doing the podcast, like whoever's podcast it was. Like him talking in Spanish, and just like you can just hear Monterrey, and you can just see the pride that he sees in Mexico. Like he's not even talking about France, bro. He's talking about Mexico's national team. This dude's an L3 fan now. Like you guys can't tell me otherwise. This dude, I think as a matter of fact, when he retires, he's staying in Mexico.
Oh yeah,
like, he's not moving.
I don't think he has anything in France anymore. Like maybe his family, but that's it.
Yeah, who needs family when you got Monterrey? But yeah, bro still got it though, man. That dude is still fiending over there. Like, god dang, man, what a guy. Fourth place Pumas beats fifth place Chivas de Guadalajara. the first leg was actually a 1-0 victory for Chivas, but then Pumas just 3-0 victory. That's all I gotta say. So Pumas handled their business. Edward, anything to take away from the quarterfinals?
No, basically everything kind of went the way we thought it was gonna go. I know I said Chivas was probably gonna win, but other than that, we both said that Monterrey was gonna win, but we were wrong on that one too.
Yeah, but I'm happy about being wrong about that one.
Yeah, we're going for the underdog.
Yeah, I mean, good set of quarterfinals. Once again, it's always great when the first leg isn't a blowout because it just makes that second leg a little bit more sweeter. But then again, it's also interesting the team that can turn around that 3-0 deficit and just flip it. That's also probably one of the beauties of like the 2-leg system. At least that's my opinion on that one. But all right, the semifinals. We have first place Club America taking on 7th place Atlético San Luis. Edward, how can Atlético San Luis beat America?
Shoot, I honestly can't.
This is like the best version of Club America we've seen in such a long. And I mean, they're usually on top of Liga MX. It's not shocking for America to finish first place, but I will say this is probably the most bulletproof America I've seen in a while. They're almost perfect, and I hate saying that.
I mean, I honestly can't tell you, bro. I can't. I think they just have to do what they did with Monterrey and just pull out all the stops as much as they can.
Yeah, I would say that they have to perform in the first leg. They got to make that first leg difficult for America because I think that would benefit them if they come in. I'm not saying because I mean America is also that team where I think that like if you beat them like 3-0 in the first leg, they could come back and win 4-0.
Oh yeah. So they'll come back hungry.
Yeah. You just have to make the game difficult. I think Leon showed you in that first leg that you can do it, but obviously I think the issue with Club Leon was obviously Club Leon already played 2 games going into. They already had to play 3 games already, while America's only played 1 playoff game. So that's already like a huge disadvantage.
Yep.
So I think that's like the argument that I would say for Club Leon, because they look like they put up a good fight. 2-2 draw in the first leg, and then fall apart in the second. Well, not fall apart, but they just couldn't answer back to America in the second leg. I think if they're able to give them a good first leg and then just keep that form going into that second leg, I would love to say it. And obviously, America always chokes at this point. This is pretty much near America choke territory. So I mean, there's also that part to be going if you're rooting for America not to make it. Which I guess if you're me and Edward right now, we're definitely hoping for that.
Yeah, we want the underdog to win, damn it.
So yeah, I mean, this is right up the alley of where America usually chokes. So, and it's like the perfect storm, Edward, right? You have first place Club America, right? Probably one of the best Club America teams that I've seen, at least recently. And
in a while.
And now you have a 7th place Atlético San Luis team where everything should be favoring America. This is just like all the ingredients to a really typical Club America choke job.
Damn. Yeah.
So
maybe it's lining up for San Luis. Maybe it's lining up for San Luis.
That's what I'm rooting for. It is like this is the prime recipe for a Club America choke job. As the people of WWE storylines. So like, oh shoot. We won't talk about wrestling. But I just recently saw that CM Punk is coming back to WWE. Thought that was kind of cool. Also, Randy Orton, still that guy.
He's still that guy.
But anyways, 3rd place Tigres. Speaking of still that guy, Gignac. Third place, Tigres taking on fourth place Pumas. Probably the tighter of the matchup. Both of these teams were able to come off of a 3-0 second leg. So both of these teams can score. But Edward, who from this matchup are you pulling for? Or who do you think is going to win this one?
This one's I'd have to say Damn, it's a tough one, dude, to be honest. Pumas has been playing good, so I can't just say, Tigres just because he got Gignac or but then it's Pumas are playing good, so I can't really take that away from them.
I mean, I'll be the boring one. I'll pick Tigres. I think obviously with Gignac, you have Diego Lainez kind of looking like the way everyone thought Diego Lainez was supposed to look like. Marcelo Flores. I see the potential in him. I kind of wish he was able to like stay in Europe, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Once again, I'm not really a Mexico hate. There's a lot of Mexican players that I really enjoy watching. But and then once again you have Gignac over there. So I mean, this team is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And if there's one thing that we know about Tigres, this team has a lot of experience. As a matter of fact, they showed you because they won the Clausura. So like recent, like literally not that long ago. So it would be interesting. I don't know if Tigres, and this is going to be like the interesting thing with Tigres because like it's very difficult to go back to back because that's essentially what Tigres would be doing if they're able to beat Pumas, and this is a very tough matchup for Tigres. But I think when you look at that, the experience is an important factor. Also, but the other thing that's crazy is both these teams are coming in the same came into this round in the same fashion, which was 3-0 victories. So both of these teams can score. But I'm going with Tigres.
You're going with
I'll just be boring. I'll be boring and pick Tigres.
All right, okay.
So who you got?
I'll go with Tigres too. All
right, so we'll see how the semifinals go out. Obviously, by the time this episode drops, the first legs have already been played. So we'll recap it next week, obviously. But we'll see. Hopefully it's juicy enough for those games on Saturday to be good. At least that's what I hope for. But if not, it happens. That's Liga MX for you. But all right, Players of the Week. Players of the Week is brought to you by In the Clutch. In the Clutch is an amazing clothing apparel partnered by the Players Associations from Major League Soccer, Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, National Football League, and so much other great organizations as well. These shirts are comfortable. The designs are amazing. And quoted by Kelsey Coyne of High Low Sports, they have passed the Fat Boy test. Also, best part is that the proceeds go to the players. So you know that's going straight to the players and it's taking care of them and their families. So think about that. If you guys use our code InsertName at checkout, it'll save yourself 10% off your entire purchase. So go ahead and check out intheclutch.com. Use code InsertName, save yourself 10% off, and check out all the wide variety of designs that they have there. So go ahead and check them out. But Edward, who is your player of the week?
So my player of the week is, damn it, I told you earlier, is Duvan Zapata, who scored 2 goals in the win against Atalanta. I said that right? Yeah.
Atalanta.
Torino versus Atalanta. Atalanta.
There we go.
And I was like, I just went straight ahead.
And
he ended up scoring 2 goals in that game, in that 3-0 win. So yeah, he was the goal scorer. I believe he was the man of the match of that game.
All right, good job.
Yeah, what about you?
So for my player of the week, it is Enzo Fernandez, who scored 2 goals in Chelsea's 3-2 win against Brighton. Might have to eat my words on Brighton because I thought that they were going to be a really good team. I don't know. I got to check the standings. Obviously, like when we do our end of the year episode, we'll recap all the tables, so we'll have a better idea of who's where. But yeah. But yeah, Enzo Fernandez scores 2 goals in that 3-2 victory. So congratulations to Duvan Zapata and Enzo Fernandez for being our players of the week. Once again, go to InTheClutch.com, use that code InsertName at checkout, and you'll save yourself 10% off your entire purchase. Thank you again, InTheClutch, for being our presenting partner for Players of the Week. And once again, if you guys do have a say, if you go to Instagram or X, you'll see the post for our Players of the Week. You guys can go ahead and vote to give them an additional vote for the Player of the Year, which is a 2-way tie right now between Erling Haaland and Belly. So we'll see how that pans out. With Jude Bellingham sneaking also up there. But so if you guys go on X or Twitter, it'll be on the tweet or post. Oh, Jesus Christ. Elon, you ruined everything for me. So in the comments of that post, there's a poll right there, so you can go ahead and vote there. And if you go on Instagram, it'll be on our stories, and that's where you can vote, which will be posted once again on Friday when we drop these episodes. So that is when you can drop your vote for who gets an additional vote towards Player of the Year. So thank you again. Games to watch, man. There's some good games coming up this weekend. In the other leagues that we don't really cover that well, Beşiktaş taking on Fenerbahçe in Turkey. So that is going to be a really big game. There's going to be a lot that is up on the line for those two teams. Those are two big teams in Turkey right now. So go ahead and check that one out if you're able to. In MLS Cup Final, LAFC, Columbus Crew. It's going to be a good one. Would have been better if the Dynamo were in there, but hey, this is still a really good final. So get your popcorn ready. MLS Cup. It is going to be on Apple TV, which is going to be free for everybody. Apple TV is going to be a free game to watch on Apple TV. So go ahead if you guys want to see what Apple TV is able to do with the coverage of these tournaments, of the MLS. I've been impressed by them so completely by this first year of Apple TV, and I think it's worth it. I know some people don't want to do it, and I get it, but I'm just telling you right now, Apple TV, the way they've covered this game, don't be surprised if other leagues decide joining in on Apple TV as well. All I'm gonna say. Yeah. In Liga MX, the semifinals. Copa America versus Atlético San Luis and Pumas versus Tigres. So there are going to be some real good matchups. So go ahead and check that out this weekend. In Liga, we got Nice taking on Stade de Reims. So go ahead and that's going to be a good one. And Lyon versus Toulouse. This is a dumpster fire of a game, but I will quote it as a loser leaves town game right now because both of them are awful. So go ahead and check that one out. Or not, I don't blame you. In the Bundesliga, we got Borussia Dortmund taking on RB Leipzig. Obviously, the battle continues as they're trying to improve their chances in a year where it's really up for grabs. It's honestly really up for grabs this year in the Bundesliga. And VfB Stuttgart taking on Bayer Leverkusen, who is currently, I believe, in first place of the Bundesliga. So, Xabi Alonso, man. Come to Real Madrid. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. Because, this is going to be last... Well, I don't know, because there's rumors that Ancelotti might stay at Real Madrid now. So, I don't know. We don't know what's going on. In Serie A, we got Juventus taking on Napoli. So, another very interesting matchup. And Atalanta taking on AC Milan over there in Serie A. In La Liga, we got Real Betis taking on Real Madrid. And Barcelona going up against the first place Girona. I think they're in first place. I could be wrong, but I know they're up there. I know they're up there in the table.
Yeah.
Let me see. La Liga. Jesus Christ, I can't type right now. La Liga. This is great podcasting, by the way. Okay, no. So Girona is currently in second place with 34 points. Barcelona's in third with 28. So this would be a really good opportunity to get closer get closer to Girona. A real six-pointer, if you will, for Barcelona. So we'll see how that goes. But Girona has been the story right now in La Liga. In the Premier League, we got Aston Villa taking on Arsenal. Emi Martinez taking on his former club yet again. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm not going to be crying in any way. And Tottenham versus Newcastle United. Let's go, Newcastle. Let's go, Toon. Dude,
let's go to the Toon.
Go
do it for the Toon.
The Toon. So, yeah. So those are the games to look forward to. Like I said, it's not all of them. But if you're trying to get into this game, this is a really good beginner's guide if you guys want to go ahead and check it out. But, all right, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we're going to wrap this show up with 3 up, 3 down, that guy in pickup games.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at BellyUpSports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, we're back. 3 up, 3 down, and the topic is that guy in pickup games. So, you guys don't really understand it. We usually do this segment called That Guy, and then we just put them in some weird situation. And so, we all have that one guy. We all know that one guy in those situations. But this specifically...
That guy, yep.
This is specifically pickup games, whether it's playing pickup basketball, pickup baseball, pickup football, whatever sport it is. There's usually around these same similar guys that are in this situation. So, Edward, would you like me to go first, or you want to go first?
You go first.
All right, I'm actually gonna say we'll start with the ups because I think the downs will be funnier.
Okay.
All right. So my first 3 up at number 3, and Edward can tell you this. Because especially when you're actually playing with goalkeepers in pickup soccer, the guy that wants to play goalkeeper.
Okay, yeah, because nobody ever wants.
Nobody wants to play goalkeeper. So when you can actually find a guy that actually wants to play goalkeeper, because basically what Edward can testify this, what we end up doing is like whoever we all take turns until we get scored on.
Pretty much. That's basically like when you don't want to be goalkeeper.
Yeah, like where nobody on the team wants to play goalkeeper, so we're like, all right, we'll all take turns. Like once you get scored on, we'll switch to a different keeper. So, as there would be that one person that would actually purposely get scored on just to not play goalkeeper.
Yep, I remember those days.
All right. Number 2, I will say the guy with the new ball, the guy that brings the gear.
Okay. Oh, that was Josue's brother Ruben. Remember when we went to play at the tennis courts?
And I mean, not just soccer balls, but I'm like the guys that they all like. There's people that actually have like the mini goals and.
Or it's cones or whatever.
Because like if we don't have that, we're using shirts or backpacks or shoes. Sometimes a combination of all of that.
Yep.
So there's that. And my number 1 is the ride. That guy that's willing to give you a ride to the pickup game.
Yeah. If it's a far pickup game, if it's like right on the corner, you just walk to it.
Like if it's like walking to the park, that's different. But like when you have to like drive pretty far out, yeah, it's not worth it sometimes. But like when you have that friend that's willing, and like not only that, but that person is willing to pick up multiple people, not like like you taking me to go play pickup at like Nelson's or to like with or over to that by that church. like that's one thing. But if you were to get me and Josue and like this other guy and that other, like you're the real one.
Yeah.
So like, but yeah. So Edward, what's your 3-up?
All right. So my 3-up is, I was gonna say, your 3-up is the guy who brings the ball, like you said. Because I mean, it's like what sucks is like.
Are you saying the ball or the equipment?
The ball.
Okay.
Because I mean, think about it. The thing is the ball. So we've had situations where we stay there waiting for the person with the ball, and we're trying to figure out what happens. There's been a couple of times where next thing you know, you're just like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just go buy a Wilson ball at Walmart or wherever, something that's close by, just so we can play that one game. And then that becomes the emergency ball. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you never really want to play with that ball. You always want to play with like the Adidas, the Nike. Hell, you even play with the Mikasa ball. You know, like
I try to
I'd
avoid
rather
that
do
ball,
that.
but I get it. But
I'd rather
play with that ball than the Wilson ball.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, man, I was like, the guy that brings the ball. Because then at that point, if you don't bring the ball, then who is,
Mm-hmm.
And then usually you would expect that a bunch of people that, go play together a lot of the time would have, a lot of these extra balls just laying around.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my number 3. My number 2. So my number 2 is the guy that brings the waters or the drinks, the Gatorade.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that guy. That's a good point. The hydration
Yeah,
king.
because sometimes, yes,
Or
because
queen.
sometimes
Or queen.
you never know. You never know when things you're gonna end up going down with
or someone accidentally takes your water bottle, which that happened.
Yeah. Or me, I left my Spider-Man blender bottle at Swiss.
No. Damn.
No, but one of my friends has it. So
oh, okay.
Yeah, so
They still
it's
have
not like
it?
it's lost. Well, it's because I haven't gone, dude.
Oh, I was like, this person's using your freaking.
Nah,
your
they have
Spider-Man shaker.
they actually. So what they did is his name's Daniel. He found it. He was like, "Hey, is this yours?" He sent me a picture of it, and I was like, "Yeah, bro." I was like, "I'm over here like a dumbass looking for it at home."
The funniest thing is just no. This person's like, who do I know that has a spider that would own a Spider-Man shaker cup?
Well, the thing is, we've played together, so he's seen it before.
No, I get that. But it's
It.
just funny to think like, who do I know that would have this?
Shit, if it was up to me,
I
I'd
wouldn't
probably
even question it. It's like finders keepers kind of thing.
No, well, you'd be like, well, I know who's a nerd like this. If it was up to me, I'd probably have like a Demon Slayer or a Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece water bottle. But since they don't make those, then I'm.
Well, if they did, it's probably not good quality. Also.
No, well, that's the thing. If Blender Bottle decides to do like a partnering with, Funimation or Crunchyroll or whatever, then yeah, then maybe. But no, they don't.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
It's made out of Yeah, like mine's the metal one, the insulated one. Yeah, and then number one is the guy who. Okay, so this is for not just for like outdoor and tennis courts and stuff like that. The guy who calls in the fields, like, because there's a lot of times when you go
the
play
guy that
indoor,
makes reservations.
Yeah, so that you go play indoor or even outdoor. Where over there in Katy, towards Katy area, there's some fields over there. If you take West Park Tollway, I can't remember the name of them, but there's like a bunch of little fields and they're outdoor, but they're turf, and you got to reserve them so you can actually have time to play and stuff like that. So usually, you're like, yeah, let's go play, and you think, let's go to the park. And when you go to the park, usually there's a lot of people already playing. So then you're like, damn, there's no space. So then you try to make the space, but sometimes it's too small. Sometimes it's like, maybe it's like, instead of playing
people are running in between.
Yeah, balls coming flying and stuff. So then you're just like, well, damn. So, you just take it in stride. So then you got the person who's like, hey, man, we're going to go ahead and rent the field at Paparuchos. We're going to rent the field at Swiss. We're going to rent the field over here. We're going to rent the field. So then you're like, okay, cool. Cool. Just pitch in the $2 for every person or whatever it is, however much it is for the night. And then, that it's not a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Time for the 3 downs. At number 3, I have the guy that refuses to play goalkeeper. And I say this because like
everyone?
me and Edward are kind of like, F it, I'll play goalkeeper for a bit.
Mm-hmm. But we actually try.
Yeah, and I mean,
like
when you are
I'll,
on that
I'll use
team,
my long ass. I'll use long legs, and then I'll go ahead
Edward
and try
has no hands.
I got no hands, no fucking hands. I'll use my chest. I'll even use my head.
Edward forgets he can use his hands when he plays.
I forget, and it's happened a lot of times.
Like Edward is not like dumbing himself down. Like he's legitimately like he's just so like.
I'm used to just being on the field,
not using his hands. He's literally Ricky Bobby. Like I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact. But like when you are on that team that says F it, we'll all take turns playing goalkeeper, and
then you got that one guy who's like, nope, I'm not playing.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. I don't know why I said F that guy. Like, what am I trying to censor? But yeah, fuck that guy. 100%. Number 2 is the guy that has a temper tantrum, and this also kind of correlates if they are the person that brings the ball.
You mean when they take the ball and go home?
Yeah, and then they're like, no one can play now.
Are you talking about Canicas?
Oh man. Okay.
We don't tell me he's listening in on this.
Maybe he does. I don't know. I wouldn't say no. Kanika is like. I think he's just very competitive, which is very funny because like this dude's like very quiet. At least when I grew up with this guy. But like, yeah, it was just like I have never like this. Like I'm telling you, this guy is just quiet. He's like really nice, sweet guy. But as soon as we start playing, like this dude, like I got fat shamed by him. Like, he always defended me when people called me fat. Like it's one of those things where I was just like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
Like you're fat shaming me, but you're also defending me. Like what?
Yeah, I mean, off the field, on the field, he's like, his fat ass can't do anything. Damn, bro.
Oh yeah.
I was like. Like go cry if I need to. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro, there was the one time I crossed him and he got out of the game. Like he didn't want to play anymore.
That was
actually, and it was like really. And that was
time.
actually at the beginning of the game. I remember that. I did like the one move and that was it. And then he just didn't want to play anymore. I was like, what the hell just happened?
But aside from that, Ganika's great guy. Congrats on being a father too.
Yes. Yeah. Congrats, bro. And welcome to fatherhood.
No, because I don't. Has Canicas ever brought the ball?
He did one time. I think he did take the ball home one time.
Like our group of friends, we actually had like multiple soccer balls, so I don't think it was like that big. I mean, Canicas does get very competitive, which is for like pickup games. Maybe it's like kind of.
It would get a little bit too far.
Yeah, like it's like maybe not necessary because like most of the time, most of us aren't really keeping score. Edward can tell you. I've asked, "What's the score again?" And it's like the first goal the first goal was just put in. And they're like, "Hey guys, what's the score again?" I don't keep track of the score. I don't care. It's a pickup game. We're not freaking. This isn't goal where freaking we're gonna get discovered by some random guy watching 5-year-olds play. If you guys don't know, that is literally the plot to goal. Except it was actually a real game, a Sunday league game. So kind of not really. And my number 1 is the guy that takes it personally. Not Canicas, but like the people that fight. The people that fight.
I like how you have to bring up that Canicas would probably
like the people that get in a fight in a pickup game, which me and Edward definitely know a few people.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely know.
I mean, we're not gonna say names.
Not like they were earlier.
What do you call marbles what do you call marbles in Spanish?
Canicas.
Anyways,
Not Canicas, but Canicas never did that. He never fought anybody. But
he never did. No, he was like, no, he would just get messed up.
so me and
No,
Edward,
we do know
we were playing
a few people.
we were playing a
What was it?
pickup
Swiss?
game. We were playing a pickup game. So like we were gonna play indoor game. Indoor game got canceled, so we said, "F it, we'll go play over at this guy's place." And so we're playing, and these dudes were about ready to start brawling. And then me and Edward just start being douchebags and start like pretend fighting each other.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna freaking fight. It was like literally a pickup. It was a pickup match.
It was just
What was
funny
it?
though, because like they took
it was
everything personally.
Yeah.
And then I think I forgot what it was like. Me and Edward were just like we were not being serious. And I think
we weren't.
I think everyone got that vibe from us because like I forgot what I did and I was like, "What are you doing that for?" And I just pushed Edward. And
then I was like, "Why you push me?" And then I just fucking started. We started slap fighting, not like slap boxing, but like literally like just.
It was like
slap
watching.
each other off.
What was that show? Oh man, what was it? What was that show that like they like fought like that? Oh, PJs.
Almost.
Didn't the PJs fight like that? PJs Projects? I don't think anybody's gonna know that show. I'm done. Let's fight.
Yeah. They never
We're
fought.
not
It
even
was just
hitting
like
each other.
stuff.
We're not
Was
even
it Bernie
close to-
Mac? Was it Bernie Mac as PJ?
Dang, I might. Man, what a
I think
show!
it was Bernie Mac. Yeah,
It was Bernie Mac.
I think so.
R.I.P. to the legend. I don't think it was. He has a very distinct voice.
Exactly. I think it was Bernie
man,
Mac.
dude, PJ's Projects. Bro, what a memory.
What a throwback.
Yeah, dude, I freaking love it. It was Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Oh, okay.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, he was good old Thurgood.
Thurgood Marshall. Yeah.
Bro, I love PJs, bro. That show. That was like just a claymation. Prime Fox. Just PJ's Projects, The Simpsons. It's crazy to think The Simpsons are still going, man.
Dude, they're still going.
I don't know if Family Guy's still going. I hope not, bro. That's like you just start running out of ideas if you're Family Guy and The Simpsons. I'm sure they repeated episodes, man. But yeah, my number one down is that guy that takes it way too personally, especially at a pickup game. Like most people are just there just to get like a quick workout in because they don't really like exercising. So
Right.
So yeah, that's my 3 down. Errol, what's your 3 down? Number
so
3,
my 3
Canicas.
down. Nah. I love that dude. Number 3, probably. Okay, so number 3 would be the guy that doesn't help out to clean up the equipment or to clean up the field sometimes, or like he'll leave his empties and shit, you know?
Oh yeah,
Cause we always had this where remember when we would play at the tennis courts, we would get the goals and we'd start like setting it up, and then sometimes we couldn't even break them down, so we were like trying to move them around the goal, and we'd take like 2 or 3 or 4 of us. Hell, me and one other guy, we ended up trying to climb the fence to try to move around the goal to try to see if we could unhinge it from there because it got stuck in between because it was
definitely not our
it was like
moment.
that zigzag. Yeah, but you know, we were like, oh, we can tear it down outside, whatever. You know, we were cool with it, whatever. But yeah, that really wasn't that. But the thing is, you would always have those guys that like they'd be there and they're like, all right, bye, and then they'd just leave. And you're just like, what the hell? Like you're not gonna help? Like seriously? So you get upset.
That to me was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Like at least pick up after yourself. Like
yeah. Then there's people that would leave like their empties and their empty water bottles, and even I would be like, hey, look underneath that chair. There's empty bottles. There's empty waters. But then what you call it?
And we're talking about grown people.
Yeah, we're not talking about kids. We're talking about grown people, people who had jobs and everything like that. You think
have children?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your number 2?
All right, so number 2 is okay. This is a good one. You might like this one. So number 2 is, do you remember at the times when we would go to the park sometimes, and sometimes when we would be with people that we knew, or we would take our shoes, like just regular shoes or indoor shoes or just turf shoes. But then you had the one guy who'd always be wearing the cleats, but it wasn't just like the firm grass cleats, like it was actually the metal cleats, the ones where you can take off the studs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those like that, like those people, like they think they have the gear, and it's
Soft
like,
ones.
oh, hey, we're just gonna go play a pickup game. We don't need to wear all this stuff. They would show up with like the freaking like 300 and some, 400 and some dollar cleats where you can take out the studs and put them back on, and they even brought the little wrench and stuff like that. And I'm just like, huh, that doesn't make okay.
There's
We're
like
just gonna
no
play.
reason at a pickup game to be wearing soft ground cleats. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It is the
exactly. That's what I'm
dumbest
saying.
thing. And honestly, like, there's more. Like, when we're talking about just pickup soccer and Sunday league in general, like, there is no reason for you to have metal studded cleats. Like, you just get the firm grounds. Like, it doesn't. Like, we're not playing on like top level grass. Like the
We're not
guys in the
playing.
English
We're
Premier
not.
League
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, get off your high horse. Like it, and also like firm grounds still work for like wet fields too. But yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. So wait, are you just like specifically saying like people that wear like the fancy cleats, or are you also adding like the person that's like dressed out in full kit?
I guess you could say
Not
it
wearing
dressed out in full
not like okay. I'm not saying people that wear a soccer jersey to playing a pickup game. Like I don't. Most of the time I am that guy, but I
Yeah.
mean the guy that's like wearing the freaking Arsenal top with the matching Arsenal shorts with
And
the
the
Arsenal socks.
socks.
Like this dude,
Oh god. And
yeah,
then he's actually wearing shin guards, thinking he's about to go play like a professional. He's got like the wristbands and everything. Like,
yeah, got like
yeah,
the freaking tape on.
oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what
like,
I'm
you
talking.
don't, yeah,
Are you, is that including that guy or
yeah. I'm including that guy.
okay? Yeah,
And
that's cool.
then number 1. Okay, number 1, the guy who basically kicks the ball over the goal and it's over the fence or at some bushes or whatever, and he doesn't want to go get it because he's like, oh, it's
Oh,
not my fault.
oh man, I hate that guy,
Yeah.
and that's
hmm
just me because I hate climbing fences.
Well,
I'll
the thing
do
is, we
it.
never. Well, no,
I'll go
well,
under the
no,
fence.
no. There was no
Actually, I
exactly. I was
purposely
about to say.
don't shoot high, like
I,
just
I
to
was about to
avoid
say.
that.
I was about to say. Well, no. There's a point where you freaking shot high, but the good thing is you went under the fence, which
Yeah, I was
was good.
always under the fence. I could not. I hated climbing fences, especially when I had a traumatic experience where it almost grabbed one of them. Like I almost got caught. One of them almost got caught on the fence.
Because you were going upward with your stomach upward, not downward.
Okay, I get it. But still, I'd rather roll
Yeah.
under. Especially back when they didn't actually put like those like the support underneath the fence. Though people started wising
Oh
up.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Hands down. Hands down.
but yeah. If rule of thumb is if you miss the shot and it goes way past and it's going far out, you gotta go get the ball. Like
Yep,
don't make
yep,
somebody
yep,
else
yep,
go
yep,
get
yep,
it.
yep.
Like you go get it. So that's a good one. Also, I gotta point this out. If you're gonna be dressed up in full kit, like you better be good. Because like
Yep.
if you don't, and I mean you're still gonna look ridiculous either way. But yeah, like you're gonna get trolled massively. Everyone's gonna be making fun of you. So also don't try to wear a kit with a player's name on the back too. Not saying like I've
Yeah.
done this before too, but it's like one you're risking of like damaging the lettering.
Oh god.
But
It doesn't bother me.
that and someone's gonna like, hey, oh okay, okay, pass it to Lewandowski. Because
Yeah.
that's why some people like to call me Bellerin now.
Thought it was just because your name was Hector.
What?
I thought it was just
No,
because your
because
name was Hector.
I was wearing my Bellerin jersey.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
now I wear like Bellerin. Which I mean, I'll take that over Pancho Nopales. So I mean, like.
Well, congratulations for saying that online.
It was funny. So random Hector Herrera story. I asked him if he by any chance knows what the fuck that means, and he was like, "I have no fucking idea what that means."
Shit.
Okay, he didn't say it like that, but I mean, like, because I was like, "Wait," I was like, "You're Mexican, right?" That's always a great way to start a sentence. I was like,
Yeah.
has you ever heard anybody give somebody the nickname Pancho Nopales? And he's just like, no, that's a weird nickname. Why would somebody give somebody that name?
Bro,
He's like, well,
man,
somebody gave me that nickname, and I don't get it. Friggin' Francisco Cactus. I don't get it.
Francisco Cactus.
That sounds like a great wrestling name.
It's like a Cactus Jack, except Francisco Cactus. You would be with Mankind.
With a mustache?
Yeah, you would be with Mankind, basically.
Or wouldn't that be like that weird leather mask thing
That's Mankind, yeah. But Cactus Jack, I'm saying like you would be basically.
Oh yeah, no, Mankind had that. Yeah,
Cactus Jack.
For some reason, Cactus Jack, which is like with the flannel and.
Yeah.
That dude has so many personas, man. Mick Foley, what a guy.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of his personas too. Mick Foley.
Mick Foley was.
It was technically like. It was technically Cactus Jack. It was technically Cactus Jack.
Mr. Sacco. Oh man, what was it? Dude Love.
Oh god, yeah.
Mankind. Obviously Cactus Jack. Which Travis Scott, I think he should give Cactus Jack his flowers. Oh, you're gonna use his name. I think that's only the 3 personas I know him for. I guess 4 including himself. But yeah, I want to say something. But obviously college football. I know this is not like this isn't an American sports podcast, but like, in college football, man. So the Big 12 championship game, for some reason, like on the field, they had like a WWE logo on it, and I never understood why. And then Undertaker comes out and gives the player of the game a championship belt. So I'm okay, WWE sponsoring the Big 12. But that was just interesting. But yeah, if you guys don't know, a big controversy has just happened in college football. So for the college football playoffs, they picked the 4 best teams, or at least quote unquote the best teams, and they play in a playoff to be the national champion. And this year, you had an undefeated Michigan, an undefeated Washington, and an undefeated Florida State. And then you had the University of Texas, who beat Alabama early in the season and has been really good aside from losing to Oklahoma once. And then you had Alabama, which despite losing to University of Texas early in the year, goes off on a run, and then in the SEC championship game beats the number 1 team in the country, Georgia. And so everyone's like, oh man, the committee is going to have to really make a really tough decision on who's going to be in the college football championship. And obviously you think the undefeated team should be going into the championship game, right? So Florida State, their starting quarterback, their best player, you could argue, gets injured. So apparently the committee was like, well, that's not going to be entertaining to watch. So then they put Texas and Alabama in the college football playoffs, which sounds fair, to be honest. But at the same time, what was the point of this team going undefeated? College football just flawed for all reasons, but I mean, if you're a Texas fan, you're happy. But yeah, and if you're Spencer, you're happy. So because Spencer's an Alabama fan. But yeah, so college football playoffs, it's an interesting time of year. College football is also something that I like watching. But yeah, I do feel like Florida State got hoed pretty bad. Because they went undefeated for nothing, which is kind of shitty. But we'll see how that goes. But I just wanted to throw that out because it was interesting. And also, obviously CM Punk comes back to WWE. I don't really watch wrestling. I don't think Edward's watched wrestling I don't think Edward has a reason to watch wrestling either. Also because now I think it's all on streaming services now. But yeah, so they announced that CM Punk is back, and apparently Randy Orton has been out for injury. Because like all I've been seeing on TikTok is just people just like, oh man, look at Randy Orton, he's back, looking fitter than ever. Yeah, I at least I watched a little bit of that match that they had. I guess it was like Survivor Series, and just seeing Randy Orton doing an RKO while they threw somebody off the top of a cage. One, that sounds super painful for the guy that's getting RKO'd. You really think about it, right? When you're falling off of the top of a cage, so it's pretty high up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're getting RKO, which is essentially just you getting like slammed, your chin's getting slammed to the ground. And like I watched that Undertaker, I guess like Last Dance kind of documentary that they did for him, and he was showing how he builds a ring, and there's fucking like these big 2x4, not I don't know these like large like lumber that they put underneath the ring, and that's it. Like there's no cushion, like they're just landing on fucking wood. And I was like, good God. Like wrestling may be scripted, but the pain is real.
Yeah.
Like they're still falling on tables. Like they're still getting hit by chairs.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that. But anyways, that is episode 155. Check out the Belly Up Podcast Network. Follow their website, BellyUpSports.com. Follow them on Instagram and X at BellyUpMedia and at BellyUpSports. Lots of great content going on, man. They're going through their end of the year awards. They're nominating everybody. Congratulations for Kelsey with his podcast High and Low Sports. They finished for best episode this year. So congrats to them. Hopefully they win it. So check out Belly Up Sports, man. It's growing. Big things are happening for Belly Up. Also, check out Golz TV, man. It's another awesome project that we're happy to be a part of. Jose Tellez, obviously, great guy to talk to, especially about footy. But he's growing such an amazing platform with Golz TV. Lots of things are going on. Check out their app, man. Check out Golz.tv, their website. Great content. It is free still to subscribe, so go ahead and check it out before you guys start paying for that. So go ahead, and follow them on Instagram at Golz, GOLZ.TV, and on the X at GOLZ_TV. So you're gonna know what's going on. You might see my face every once in a while there as well. And of course, shout out to the man that's currently on top of the singing bed table, Roosevelt Spencer, the namesake of the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year award. You can follow him on Instagram at That Guy Dope. Once again, at That Guy Dope. If you guys need some beat work done, hit up our guy Spencer, because he will take amazing care of you like he always does with us. I'm sure him paying off his singing bet's going to be a fun one. So make sure you guys be ready for that when we do our end of the year episode, which is coming pretty soon. I'm telling you all that right now. So basically, you know what? So we're going to go ahead and conclude the Player of the Year voting. So this will be this Player of the Week will be the last one for Player of the Year. We're going to end the vote because there is a tie between Erling Haaland and Pedri. You know, for the guys that finished with five votes apiece, Edward, I think you, me, and Spencer will do a vote amongst ourselves, so we can add like a third person into the ballot for Player of the Year.
Okay.
And then we'll have y'all vote, because the 22nd will be our end of the year episode. So you guys have like that's how so then me and Edward will take like a break for New Year's Eve and Christmas and all that. So that's how we're gonna do it. So yeah. So Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year voting is gonna be done after this episode, and then we'll present to you guys the top 3 for the Player of the Year, and then you guys will go ahead and vote for who will be the 2023 Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year. So be on the lookout for that when we get to that. But yeah, so we are literally 2 episodes away from ending the year out for this podcast. So we'll give you guys some more great content for that. But yeah, so that's me, Hector Flores. This is my best friend, Edward Robles. Thank you for listening to episode 155. Catch us next week for episode 156, where we will be recapping the MLS Cup Final and previewing the Liga MX Final. So get ready for that.
All right. Take care, guys.
I don't